Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Another great show in store for you today. Before I get into that, I want to thank all my listeners, all my subscribers, all my people in other countries, man, from Jamaica, Spain, UK, Puerto Rico, Germany. You guys, man, I love you, and I hope wherever you guys are sitting at right now listening to my voice, that you guys are safe and sound. Everybody's healthy, family's healthy. You're surrounded by love and positivity, man. And I thank y'all for supporting me. You can continue that support with going to my website, cominghomecoalition.com, seeing exactly what I'm doing, boots on the ground. And you can also support me by visiting my merchandise shop and seeing how you want to express yourself in all kinds of different facets. So once again, thank y'all, man, and I love y'all, and I wouldn't be able to produce what I'm producing without you, you know. So I want to always give you the first and foremost of my show. So much love and respect there. So moving forward about this show, this woman fell into my lap this morning, um, and she has a whole lot to say. She's going to give you exactly who she is, what she does, what she's about. So I don't want to give too much about that, but I will let you know that today's discussions is going to range into today's politics and the prison system and criminal justice reform, reentry. Um, she is a reentry specialist. She has worked with reentry for quite some time. She's well known here um, in the Middle Florida area and among. So I'm just going to let her explain all of that to you. So without further ado, I am now introducing you to the wonderful Flav.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So I got you in here, huh?
Oh my goodness. The good things always happening when the Lord is blessing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So right now you're on the podcast called Free Me, and what we here do is we just speak the truth, and it's fact based, and it's about awareness. It's just about waking people up to really what's going on within our justice system, our prison system, our reentry, and how that trickles down into our communities, and what's going on today is effect of all of that stuff. So please go ahead, open yourself up, tell us who you are, where you come from, and what you do.
I thank you very much for this opportunity to connect with taxpayers, voters, and citizens. First, I want to give God the glory for giving me these solutions because unfortunately, folks in this country are moving forward with insanity and just listening to misrepresentations on all different levels. My name is Joanna Flavor Collins. I am officially titled by inmates and felons, which I call taxpayers in the state of Florida, as the Harriet Tubman of felons and inmates, but I call myself the Harriet Tubman of taxpayers. Just like to let everyone know out there that you are a taxpayer. Filing taxes is one thing, and another thing that's not being a taxpayer. Filing taxes in this country does not officially make you a taxpayer. What makes you a taxpayer is every day or any purchase that you purchase, or your taxes, your city, state, county, federal taxes. That's what makes you a taxpayer, and that's what ensures and gives you all rights. Unfortunately, that is not what has been happening in our modern society. We have allowed political Ponzi scammers, aka employees, to discriminate and destroy and turn our modern day society into not just a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, but overall a modern day self-destructive, chaotic, so-called democracy. We've just observed Donald Trump, which is the best example of a Confederate and a white supremacist. He's done an awesome job at helping to identify and help to reveal modern day white supremacists and Confederates. If you want proof of this, then all you have to do is just simply go back the past 4 years as they have been raising their hands in the fashion of revealing themselves.
But does that make Donald Trump a white supremacist?
He's helped reveal them by himself being the leader of them. Of course, he's the consummate white supremacist. He's a wannabe dictator, and he's failed miserably at attempting to try to be that. The best thing that Donald Trump has done for this country is to be Donald Trump. He has single-handedly exposed the political Ponzi scammers by his own. This is why being the political Ponzi scammers were so excited to want to get him out of office. The ones that wanted him to stay in office, well, that's because, even Hitler had followers, Mussolini had followers. I mean, every dictator, or I hate to use that word, he was a wannabe dictator, but what he was really is a traitor, but not the American public, not the taxpayers. He was a traitor to his own Confederate white supremacist comrades. They exposed themselves by choice and by accident. They thought that that raising the Confederate flag would ensure them some sort of rightful stance in a modern day democracy. Well, what they did was reveal that they never went away. They've always been here. They traded their masks and their hoods for freaking political powerful positions. And we, the taxpayers, have stood by and allowed this political Ponzi scam chaos to ensue. And I'm calling for a political purge. Political purge 2022, 24, to the day that I die and to the day that anyone else dies. I'm just going to break down a couple of things and throw out some very awesome solutions.
Okay, Joe, before you hold on 1 second. Before you do this,
awesome.
Give me some credentials. Give me some credentials so I know that you know what you're talking about.
Well, the facts that I'm going to be presenting facts will be self-sufficient for credentials, but myself, I am a reentry employment specialist. That doesn't make me necessarily qualified to present these facts because there are many reentry employment specialists across the country. I'm uniquely qualified because I've been to the mountaintop, if you will. I've been given the key of success by the Lord. I know this sounds like religious tirades, but when everybody claims God and acts like the devil in this country, nobody complains about them. So what I'm saying is that when people cry out to God, people being inmates and felons and family members and friends and society, all these folks, millions of people out here complaining about injustices over sentencing, wrongful convictions, prison industrial complex. What they're doing is profiting off of misery. And I am a political investigative news reporter. Mm-hmm. And as our conversation continues, I will be revealing just exactly what it is. For instance, big fact, politicians are employees and taxpayers are the boss. That's a fact. But how it translates and how it's actually manifesting, that's what we will be discussing on how ordinary taxpayers can stop allowing their employees to discriminate against them, how to identify discrimination, and how to stop begging for reparations and demand and get compensation.
So with that being said, because that's beautifully worded, and I'm so glad that I had you on the show to spit the way that you just did, because I mean that is the essence of everything that's going on. So let me ask you, right? How? Well, is it a waste of my time to be doing Zooms and meetings with public officials about criminal justice reform? Is it a waste of time for families to be out in front of the jails, in front of the county buildings and whatnot, picketing and for reform when you're picketing to the politicians? Is this a waste of time, or is it worth something?
It's not a waste of time. What it is it's an incomplete attempt. What that means is when you just complain and it's like a false selling wolf ticket. Like when your parent tells you, if you don't do what you're told to do, I'm going to put you on punishment, and you don't. And the child continues to do whatever. Or if you say, if you continue cheating on me, I'm going to divorce you, and you don't. Bad behavior is accepted and projected. And what we're doing, because we know not, we do not get what our correct results are. We're not, it's like a computer program that just goes to 99%. It's incomplete. It doesn't work unless it's at 100%. So showing up, telling your employees, the politicians that they're, demanding things, that's just a 99%, because no one actually comes back and eliminates them until they think, this is what taxpayers, the boss, think. They think that they don't have the right to do that until the election term, which is incorrect. So what we have is a system that has built and evolved itself. Or better put, it's like the dog that is now turned on his master. That's what we are allowing. We're the master, but we've allowed the dog we're in fear of the dog. Or
we've allowed the dog to run amok. We've allowed the dog to jump up on the couch, just live in the house how the
just
dog
take
wants
over
to
the
live.
house, not just jump up on the couch. The dog got us on the floor. You see? And that's where, but the best part about this is we don't need to be begged for anything. We need to be praying, or whomever your religious person is, or entity, or you recognize as the powerful, creator in your life. Whatever. I say this, when people are in time of trouble, who do you cry out to? You don't make up some crazy thing in your head. Most people say or think, oh God. So whoever you thinking or praying to in your time of your darkest need hour, thank God, because we truly are free. It is time to win the war on poverty. It is time to achieve the dream. And I have some awesome solutions on how to move forward. I don't have all the answers. What I have is enough. Just like the civil rights movement, what that did was help to advance Blacks in our society, African Americans, whomever, people of color. It does not matter what you choose to title yourself. All I'm saying is that we are taxpayers, and that we cannot expect the snake, we cannot expect the wolf the lion, the leopard to change its spots. We must be diligent now that we are free to know how to move forward. Our leadership does not know. When have you ever heard Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or any prominent advocate of modern history in the past 2, 3, 5 years tell you you're the boss and you're going to get back all your city, state, county, federal government jobs? You're going to get compensated for being wrongfully terminated. You're going to get, when you ever heard anyone telling inmates or felons you are being discriminated against and you're supposed to get a disability check, you have no jobs, you don't have any money on your book, Social Security? All of these things will never come out of these employee mouths. By the way, there's only 1 to 5 or 7 of them collectively as committees. And we're sitting there allowing them to decide. They're hired to manage our country, not rule us. And that's what we've been allowing.
So why won't it come out though? I mean, what's the big secret about it? I don't understand.
I've just been, to tell the truth, this is not the best kept secret. What it is I would say the Tower of Babel, blinders on, and most modern history. And we're Felons, by the way, there's no such thing as a felon. Want to let your listening audience know that. Anyone out there that is a felon or has someone in their family that's being regarded as a felon, you're not a returning citizen. You are not a formerly incarcerated citizen. You are not a felon. A felon is an adjudication.
Freak.
That is not what you are, is a taxpayer and a U.S. citizen, period. So that's number one for people, for any organization. I've had the people who have had the audacity. I'm the one that's revealing. When I say God gave me this to give to the people. Stop begging him for a job. Stop begging God, praying to God to win the lotto, for the lotto tickets to come in your dream. God, let this scratch off be the $1 million one. It's not going to happen. If you want to become a millionaire, sell 1 million bottles of water. Because you're not going to scratch off 1 million lotto tickets and win.
Preach, mama, preach. You know, and I tell people this all the time, like, dude, you really have to understand what God is. God is not going to fish for you. He's going to teach you how to fish. You know, there's always a story. It came from the movie with Will Smith, man. The Pursuit of Happiness. Okay. So now he's telling a story in this movie about the man that's drowning in the ocean. So you got this man, he's out in the ocean and he's drowning, and a ship comes along and he's like, hey, do you need a hand? And the guy's like, no, I'm okay. I'm waiting on God to come save me. Okay. So the people in the ship, they go. So now the man is there and he's in the middle of the ocean. He's floating and next ship comes along. Hey, you need a hand? No, it's okay. God's going to save me. He's got me. Okay. People go along in the ship. And don't you know, now a third ship came. And they asked the man, listen, you look tired. Come on to the ship. Man's like, no, it's okay. God's coming. I know he's coming. Ship left. Man, don't you know this man went up under the water, sucked in a whole 5 gallons of water and died. Now he goes to heaven. Now he's looking at God. And he's like, but I have faith you were going to come save me. But what do you think God said to him? Man, I sent 3 ships at you. What else do you want me to do? And the point of that is that we're constantly looking for God to handle things in our lives, but God is constantly working in our lives. Constantly. You see what I'm saying? And he wants us to do it. He's not there to just come in and just wave a magic hand and make everything okay. It's up to us, man. Joe, you with me? Oh my goodness, I lost Joe. Joe, it says you're connected. Can you not hear me? Send me a text if you can hear me.
I'm sorry. Technical difficulties.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So you're back. So did you hear anything that I said or no?
No, I heard you. You just couldn't hear me. Yes, sir.
I just couldn't hear you. Okay. So yeah, going back into it, is am I right or am I wrong? I mean, does God want us to provide for ourselves and he's just going to give us the means to do so? Or are we just...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mama.
Well, I was going to say that, believe it or not, one of my mission statements forever has been a way out, not a handout. And basically this is like, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. This is a way out, not a handout. And I say, God provided us to give you fishing poles and nets, not a fish, because when people give you fishes, that's when you starve. And that's why I've never got a grant before, because God wanted me to understand that that's a fish. It's right now in Hillsborough County and the surrounding Bay Area, there are literally thousands of nonprofits that no longer exist because they kept getting fish and they never ever knew to use a fishing pole, or they never had one. They might have been, very good or very, needed in the community, but that's a part of us allowing our employees to determine whom gets what. And Rick Scott was one of the best examples of this former.
Well, there's not a lot of support out here for us, hardly at all. I sent a detailed description to the sheriff of Pasco County, right, explaining that I grew up in this county and I have experience with a lot of issues that are going on in this county. I showed him that I formed an organization, that I have an active podcast, and his return to me was a thumbs down. That was it.
You know why?
Because I got from him was just a thumbs down. No response, no nothing, just a thumbs down.
Because we the boss allow him, the employee, to see. This is why the South is to the South, the dirty South, because taxpayers and the bosses have allowed these fools, a mayor and a governor. How many people is that? 2. Now, how many are the rest of them? They're all employees. Don't believe it? Why do they run for office and beg us for the job? Their job is not to tell us what to do. So this is what I'm calling for. Us to organize independent citizen taxpayer organizations, coalitions, CPA, Citizen Protection Act, and the TPA, Taxpayer Protection Act. We to bring what we want to these employees, and if they don't do it, we do just what the homosexuals did. Guarantee them that they are committing political suicide. It is time for political purge and to get rid of these fools once and for all. How do you go from a freaking bad governor to now being a senator, to being a representative? We're allowing them to ping pong. See, my job is to help to get taxpayers acclimated and get them off of this political chess game and get them on the political checkers game and get them onto political chess. That's the problem. You steady playing checkers when this is a chess game. Bottom line is, we don't have to beg for integration of Black history in school books. Why are we allowing one employee school superintendent and the school board to decide our fate of our future when they're only an employee for a little while? They get rotated out. They are no one, and we have to treat them just like that. Every taxpayer understands how to respond to an employer. You understand what your job is. You understand if you don't do it, what the consequences are. We have to get our communities educated on how to apply their own ish, and to understand that this is not about the takeover, it's about the makeover.
But Joe, how do you get somebody to play chess who's playing checkers but thinks they're playing chess? How do you get them to realize that you're only playing checkers?
MONEY, money. That's all that matters. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. See, remember, this is about getting all jobs returned. This is about getting minimum $15 minimum wage now, not 2026. These people are so ignorant, they really think that $15 is coming, not to 2026. Y'all better read the fine print. Now, what we ought to do, what we have, check this out. Everybody's already ready. Every single person. Right now, you're ready. You have a coalition. Everybody else has a coalition. What they don't have is enough sense to understand how to execute their own power, because they have relinquished power to the employee. And how I get them to understand is the store manager of Walmart has the keys to the store and the code to the safe. They're an employee. They do not get to leave out with 10 flat screen, big screen TVs. They don't get to leave out with 50 shopping carts worth of food or different whatever out of the store and go to their truck and fill it up. They will be arrested on the spot. And that's what we're allowing these political Ponzi scammers to do. You see that we got to break, give the people baby food.
I can tell you, like, my issue is not so much as far as implementation. My issue is more along the lines of support from just from the American citizen. That's where my roadblock is. That's where a lot of our roadblocks are, is as soon as you start bringing up criminal justice reform, they want to know, the first question is usually, well, is that all that you do? Is there anything else that you do? Criminal justice reform, nobody really wants to hear about prisoners. Because nobody really understands the depth of cancer that the criminal justice reform is causing in the country. Everything, they're not connecting the dots. Everything that's going on in the country right now is coming from our criminal justice errors.
Okay, so I got you on that. Check this out. You're exactly right. And here's why, because I've been in this business for so long. I'm going to go backwards for you. First, I'm going to just jump in here and say that America KKK has an issue with its own self. It's its own hypocrisy. This because I've dealt with this. When I first started off, I used to tell everyone to sell water. And people who got out of prison couldn't get a job. That's before I knew better to know that nobody's supposed to be trying to sell water unless you want to. So check this out. You're absolutely right about society. But that's because society has the misconception that felons are Frankenstein. They think that they're rapists and murderers. They think that's why I want to use Martha Stewart as one of our poster childs to show modern day felons. But who felons are these political Ponzi scammer crooks, Oliver North, all of these people that have been pardoned. So that's why I'm calling to end the political pardon. Oh, it's going down. Oh, it's going down. You see, why would we?
I don't like Martha Stewart as a role model though. In that instance,
I didn't say a role model. I said as a example of getting America KKK to understand who a felon is. The average person thinks a felon is a career criminal and a rapist. They need to understand that felons are Martha Stewart.
Hear me out. No, but see, Martha Stewart is a flip side. I feel like she's not viewed as a felon. She's viewed as somebody that just made a mistake. She's viewed as a civilian that made a criminal mistake.
Okay. So right? Here why I'm saying her, because I am educated or well versed in getting hypocrites to get off their high hypocritical horse. Okay. That's why I use Martha Stewart, because people forget and they thought that she should get a forgiveness. That's exactly the point, to see that a felon this is the face of felons in the 21st century. They're Martha Stewart. People are thinking Frankenstein and monster, but here, this is a felon. Matter of fact, somebody posted a good picture of Snoop and Martha together and said, there's only one felon in this photo. Guess which one it is? But the point is this: there's no such thing as a felony. We've allowed our political Ponzi scammers, employees of one or committees of 5 or 7 or more, to come up with this Ponzi scam of felons. But guess what? The felon is a taxpayer. So that's you asked me how and what. So I'm explaining it to you. But above all, it is a public safety campaign, because what are you going to do? This is how I had to help these people, these hypocrites, get over themselves down here, because they had the audacity to tell me that selling water wasn't a job. And I said, no, a job is what people can't get. Selling water is a way to pay your bills, because you can earn $50 to $500 a day selling water in Florida. Now, you can't do that working for Burger King or McDonald's. So, and I showed inmates how to take their $100, get out, get a peddler's license, get a cooler, get some water, and get to making money and earning money. Because if you hustle, you don't have to stop hustling. You need to change your product. But they tried to diss me and dismiss me. Meanwhile, there's no organization out here that can get any citizen, aka felon, pass a job application. But I was ignorant then, trying to help people earn money by selling water, when in fact they need to get their GED, high school diploma, and or just be qualified for any position. Obviously, pedophiles are not going to work in daycares, and thieves are not going to work in banks. But we're going to stop and end these employees from taking away our jobs. They got to go. So when they say no, they got to go. This is the end of no. I started this campaign many moons ago. It's called the end of no. When they say no, they got to go. They're not hired to tell us no. They're not hired to restrict our benefits, our vote, our rights, our jobs, our housing. But that is what we have tolerated, and people are ready to end the end of no.
But okay, but are they really telling us no, or is it the placation? See, again, that goes back into what I was asking about, even having interviews with these politicians.
What do you mean you can't get past the job application? That's the biggest no right there.
This is the truth. I'm dealing with these facts.
You said, are they really telling us no? Telling us they've solidified it. We've allowed them to discriminate against us. Excuse me for interrupting you. And on the flip side, it's the regular taxpayer that it's all in one. Taxpayers, you can't get $15 an hour. Why? Because your employees are telling you no. Who the hell gave them vote and raised their votes? I'm claiming that everything, all money, we must develop. That's what the Taxpayer Protection Act would be. You see, because we're allowing these fools to just go and then just liquidate our funds. Because why? Who gave them carte blanche? We did. They're here to manage, not to misuse and abuse. And that's the difference. So all these educated people, all these people out here with agencies and organizations like the ACLU, I'm saying we need to formulate our own taxpayer protection, inmate protection coalitions. We don't have to wait for them. Matter of fact, we don't have to wait for them to fund us. We can demand and get our own budgets. Why? Because the system is backwards. We need to deregulate and to eliminate. During the Reagan, Clinton, Bush eras, they're the ones that put all these suffocation laws on the books and approved them while we sat by. 10, 20 life, 3 strikes you're out, and mandatory minimum are ridiculous laws, suffocation. And if there's such great laws, why are we allowing the political pardon? Now, we got enough to start this daggone revolution, and it's called Free at Last and Winning the War on Poverty, Achieving the Dream. It's time to stop dreaming. This the 21st century.
Yeah, but it's waking the people up. See, what you're saying, and I know, and maybe 5 other people know, but it's the 50 people around that's going to say that we're crazy, or what we're saying doesn't make sense, right? Like. And then you'll get a Biden and a Harris up on the stage talking about criminal justice reform, when their whole history, their whole history discounts everything that they say about criminal justice reform. So I can only go by your actions. I can't go by your words, because I know when the lips move, all you have to do is push air through it and anything can come out. But the actions is where the value is at. And I know too much history about these two individuals. So when I hear that, but my point is not so much about that. It's more about the placation and the lies and the veil of manipulation that's over the people.
Do you know how homosexuals got their rights? They fought for it for over 30 years. For over 30 years.
No, I'm gonna tell you how they got it.
They stopped begging politicians, and they recognized they were the boss.
Listen to me. Listen. The homosexuals got the rights that they did because they had the nation of people behind them.
What nation?
Right? The nation of people.
Taxpayers.
Is not the people. The American people. The American people. Whoever we are, taxpayers, free people. But what I'm saying is, as you and I, people like us, we stood behind those rights, because no matter whether we agree with homosexuality or not, But the fact is they're still human beings, and they deserve to be just as treated equal as you or I, no matter what, you know? And that's just common sense. And again, that's common sense for prisoners, right? For us, but it's not applied the same way. And we don't get the same love from our communities. When I come home, I don't get doors open to me from my community that I'm coming home to. And I don't get an extending hand saying, you know what, you fell, but we're here to pick you up to make sure that you don't fall again. Because when you fall, we all fall. You see, I don't have that support. As soon as, like you say, as soon as my job application comes down and it's put in front of me and I have to check off this question, I already know it's a noose around my neck, you know? So it's to me, it's attacking the American people and getting them to understand that we need them in order to force these politicians that work for us. I agree 100% with everything that you're saying. Are you with me? Don't tell me I lost you again. I lost you again. All right.
Hello? Yeah, okay.
I got you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I flipped the phone over. Okay, so I hear what you're saying, and that's why what I'm saying, okay, like, first of all, everybody is ready. When they rioted across this country, they're already there. What they have is they are misinformed by agency, organization, and so-called leaders that are telling them second chance when it's time served, by not identifying them as the taxpayer citizen that they are, that by not revealing to them that, oh, by the way, I didn't mention corporate America. So the blueprint is to start with employment, to come to all citizens. First of all, this reduces crime, violence, and increases public safety. So therefore, there is no. There's not no thumbs down with this. That's number one. Number two is, it will get all people a even playing field. The only way you will be not qualified for employment is we will remove the felon barrier. It's time served. Other than that, we will actually implement a request or demand for whatever legislation for disability or compensation. Now, mind you, any political fool that says no, they are raising their hand to be dismissed and fired. That's the bottom line. See, that's the best part about this. Anybody that says no got to go. Nobody's asking them. This is what we will be telling them. See, that's what a revelation is. When you discover something and you apply it, knowledge is only power when applied. So we the ones that's going to bring, this is the 21st century civil rights movement. So us bringing this to the masses is what they need. They have no jobs, not just the city, the state, and the county, and the federal government jobs. You can't work for corporate America. So guess what? We as the taxpayers can demand that not one corporate company has any government contract that does not hire a qualified felon or formerly incarcerated citizen. When I tell you, I got the biggest hands for all they cojones, that they what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And the number one being the telephone company. You know, back in the day, inmates been writing me for many moons, and it's been very upsetting to me to not be able to support them in the most major way. But this is the ticket. Also, to eliminate DRs and CCs that's raping inmate time and that's costing taxpayers. The earmark money to put back typewriters in the education in our prisons. See, I'm here to help the help. Now, let's just say praise the Lord and say amen, because guess what? The people cried out to God for all of these solutions and answers. And anybody else that has any solution and answers, stop attempting and start succeeding, because what inmate and what family member going to turn down job opportunities or turn down getting funded? That is a discrimination. That's a disability. We've allowed our own employees to discriminate against us and make us disabled. We're sitting here worried about what people think in this society, when in fact we're allowing career crooks and criminals not of that. So we just seen in front of our own eyes. We all know if that had been Obama doing this insanity, being racist, supporting negative things, they would have, they wouldn't have stopped talking about him. But we needed Trump to help to expose just what is happening, because you or I don't have enough lifetime to be able to do and to convince or get people woke up like he did single-handedly. So I want to give a round of applause for Trader Trump, because baby, you did the best job. I can't do nothing but thank the Lord for you, because America KKK is strong. But that Confederate flag, check this out, that belongs to us. See, when the enemy, the war, us,
Who's
black folks, that's our flag. Because they lost the war.
I'm telling you,
they
man.
lost
Amen.
them Confederates lost the war. That flag belonged to us. I want every black man to take it and wipe their behind with it and wave it high if you want to, because it's not the rebel flag, it's the rebellious flag. That's our flag. If you can't change,
what other country do you know? Have you ever heard of another country? Have you ever heard of another country that allows a flag to fly that has been defeated? Have you ever heard of another country that allows a flag to fly that has been defeated?
See, that's where we got to work towards our real success.
Do you know what it was? I'm telling you, listen, for me to drive down I-75 and see this Confederate flag the size of 3 buildings. You could cover up a 3-story building with the size of this Confederate flag that was flying on the side of the highway. Anybody in Tampa knows, if you've been down 75, you know this big ass
Confederate flag. It's bad weather here.
Yeah. So the fact that a flag like that can fly, and this flag is a memorial. I had actually stopped here one day because I thought that it was just a flag in somebody's yard. This is an actual memorial of. And now get this. Now I swear to you, it's a memorial where they have a plaque honoring all of the Confederate soldiers, and they have a plaque. Get this now, they have a plaque of black soldiers, black people that are honoring the Confederate soldiers and what they stand for and what they do. Is so absurd and so disgusting, right? Because people don't understand what that flag represented. It wasn't just a flag; it represented murder and death and slavery and white
black people,
white empowerment.
I'm sorry, sir, but black people did the best they could with coming up out of those times. I mean, we don't understand what they went through, like with the lynchings and all, like the real bad things that we see, that, we see a glimpse of. So, like, I understand, people's disconnect with things, but understand, we're tolerating so-called black leaders. Like, I'm very against Louis Farrakhan. He has no financial plan, blueprint, but he keeps printing. He does. But at the same token, if he could just tell the NOI or the nation or anybody that we the boss, that would be, I want black men. I want pulpit pimps. I want community con artists to be about that business. See, they good game. That's they hustle. Let
me ask you this. What do you think about Diddy's new party?
Diddy who? Okay, Diddy. Well, right Puff now Diddy. I'm about to be writing for Diddy a publication out of the West Coast, and what I want to do is interview all these celebrities to ask them, now that you're awoke and conscious, we want to have a conscious con. Like that Comic-Con, we want to have a conscious con. And we want all them Diddy's and Jay-Z's and everybody who, Jay-Z put up 50 million. That's what I'm telling you. We could do the million taxpayer fell in March because they got money to, why? Because this is about achieving the dream and time served. See, I'm talking about our jobs back. They're not. Ice Cube got a contract with Black America. Diddy, what is Diddy doing? His Diddy party. Diddy don't know Diddy. See,
Did he form the party? Did he form, just a couple of days ago, he formed
Awesome.
a political party called the Black Party.
We need to be advisors. See, he don't know everything. That's good. He started it. I'm glad you know about it. See, now that's great. Maybe that could be something that we could use as a springboard and a platform to help people elevate, get lifted. This won't end in our lifetime.
But isn't that is that creating more diversity?
Diversity, you know, all I'm studying is if it's creating more dollars. Because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. See, everybody keeps starting something, but in the end, it doesn't make dollars. See, all these people just came out and rioting, but they didn't get anything out of it because there was no leadership, no one there to tell them, y'all are complaining to your employees. And then they went home, and every day, less and less, they run out of gas. See, they run out of gas. Then on election day, they ain't even show up because nobody was out there to tell them that's where it's not your power. So they got to stop saying your vote is your voice. See, that don't mean nothing to people. That don't mean SHIT. What it is your vote is your paycheck. Now we cooking with gas. See, that's a whole damn difference.
So specifically speaking here in the Hillsborough area and reentry, like how is this program designed here in Hillsborough? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Is it effective?
A negative because not one thing equals a job opportunity. When I just said everything is restricted by our own employees. So if you can't get past the job application, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You see.
But why though? Why are they preaching because rehabilitation
that's how they get paid.
They're not doing anything
I'm one of the few people that actually has worked with and still does work with and in these agency organizations. I'm not just some run-of-the-mill Joe Blow activist, social reformist. I'm a social service provider. I worked in the prisons for over 10 years. I'm a re-entry employment specialist. That means I came along when, matter of fact, there's no such thing as re-entry. There was no need for re-entry, and there was no such thing until after 9/11 because of Homeland Security laws. Let me tell you the story of how this crap all began. Back in the day, I'm talking about Western times, when you had your one little cell jails or whatever, 5 or 4 cell jails. And people got arrested and they went into the jail. Guess what happened? They took your gun. And when you got out, what happened? You got your gun back. Okay? Then we come into modern times and they say, well, it's not really good for outlaws to be carrying concealed weapons. Now, back in the day, see, what black people are falling for is a miseducation and guidance of their own reality. These people got people thinking that blacks are the population. That only came once crack came along. Before then, it's number of white people in prison. Get that in prison. Robbers, white, all kind of blue, white collar, all these laws on the books, that's for white people. Black people don't do those crimes.
Maritime law. Yeah. If you go back and you research federal crimes before you get to the induction of Title 18, right? Anything that the Fed dealt with was only maritime. It was all like really? Just ocean laws, international laws, shipping laws.
So anyway, during the crack era, that's when we fell for. That's when America KKK wasn't paying attention. But you can't disregard that the whole country was at a tilt. So therefore, that's what caused that nobody paid attention when they said 10-20 life. Bam, 3 strikes you're out. Bam, mandatory minimum. Nobody paid attention to that. And the fact that we are using our own money to literally cocoon and to imprison our own self. We have created a system of suffocation laws. There are more laws on the books than damn, it looked like than sand on beaches of the world. This is ridiculous. And we don't have to keep having conversations, seminars, writing books, doing shows, and complaining about it when it's obvious what to do. Those things must be repealed. And the best thing that these white supremacists, Confederates ever did was to go after Romney Care. It's not Obamacare, it is Romney Care. Mitt Romney came up with this health care plan. The only thing Obama did was the smartest thing, which was to provide it to all taxpayers instead of just citizens that live in the state of Massachusetts. So once again, big facts. And by the way, I apologize. I've just taken on this role and title. I am now officially marketing myself, or better known as the angry activist. Because if people think that I'm loud or moonshine, well, guess what? Guess what's the problem? Your discrimination, your unemployment, your being not able to do the slightest thing, having no rental caps, having no utility caps. Working can't afford your own bills, and then when you work, that's all you can afford. Our system is out of order, out of place, and it's just like a bucking bronco. We've just allowed it to continue and continue and continue, and there's no stopping it. But there is a way to stop this, because it just happened. If they were the boss, they wouldn't have held an election. If they were the boss, they wouldn't be begging you for your vote. And if they were the boss, they would just do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, even though it seems that way, but really we're allowing them to do whatever they want, whenever they want. So I will implore your listening audience and those around the nation and the world to stop complaining, stop rioting, stop petitioning, and simply take your organized complaints and people and show up and show out and simply tell them, you will no longer be here. The only position you'll ever hold again will be the president of your local PTA, because your political career is over. We have the power to do that, and that's what homosexuals did. They stood up and they said, we will systematically vote you out nationwide. You want these positions of power in your jobs that you consider so valuable? Well, then you better vote for same-sex rights, and that's how they got it. So this is about being free at last. This is about, oh, by the way, all you got to do is listen to like Court TV or your local news station. Hear what they're saying. Oh, they passed marijuana laws, but what are people going to do about driving? You see, one person is who got marijuana made illegal. One woman is who got prayer taken out of school. The power of the negative one suggestion is so powerful. And why have we spent all our hard-earned tax dollars on the Holocaust and prosecuting Holocaust war criminals when we have never spent a dime on prosecuting white supremacists who mutilated and hung Black people? They're standing in pictures. So I'm coming down with the real get down. If they want to be about that life, if they really want to be free at last and win the war on poverty and achieve the dream, then I got something great for them. It's called reality and facts.
You know, that's a great point. That's a very good point. You know, like the murders of Emmett Till. You know, why is that bloodline allowed to flourish? Because of that. You know, the thing of it is that when that crime occurred and those murderers were allowed to get off the way that they were, their life was allowed to continue in the fashion that it was. You see, their bloodline was not altered. Their generations weren't altered like it would have been as if they would have been found guilty. You see, how do you, and the bloodline, I'm sure, is probably still flourishing in many of these instances that you're talking about, where the grandfather, the great grandfather was a stone cold murderer, you know, and capitalized off it. So, but you can't change that. What is what is. It's just a recognition of that and understanding that with us white people. You know, us white people have to understand that this is what our history is, you know. and we have to deal with that. And you said it so perfectly. We have to figure out how to come together and love one another, and don't hate me because I'm white or I'm black or I'm yellow or brown or any other color, because it has no influence
the
over my
racial
thought.
negative devil divide, that's what Trump came to try to do. That's what the devil do. You see how the word evil is in devil, and that ironic.
But how though? How can you say that? How can you say that? Because one, from my recollection, we were already getting into a serious divide in the later years of Obama, right? And for two, I don't see anywhere other than where you have these stupid white people, man, that are just out there, and they get caught on video saying things like, Trump's gonna get you out of here. Wait till Trump gets in, your ass is out of here. And that was the narrative that was set. But what has Trump actually physically done himself to show that he is a white? I mean, what he did for the
what
HBCUs,
has he done himself?
To me,
okay,
is
this
monumental,
is what he's
though,
done.
is it not?
One, he's not a politician. He's a wannabe mobster. No one uses the word whack but mobsters. So, that unfortunately, it ain't happened. It's happened before. They picked the wrong horse. Nobody wanted Hillary's, a postmenopausal or premenopausal behind in the seat. That's how he got in the office. And I believe that God has this country on accountability and credibility. So Trump was an ally. He came thinking he could reign and rule because he saw that this is how they've been doing it. Remember, if you watch the inauguration, he said to them that DC, as you know it, is over. And they stopped clapping in mid-clap. And they were like, what the hell? What is he talking about? And he told them, see, he hates bureaucracy. He's a freaking real estate mogul. They hate politicians. The only way they love you is if you're in their pocket. But other than that, you're a pain in their asses. So he told them he's coming for them. He's coming to. Then he thought he could just take over like Bush and Reagan, but that was during the crack era when nobody was paying attention, when everybody was jiggy, thought they had it going on and was balling. Whatever you had going on, you was not paying attention to the fact that this country passed these suffocation laws. Now you want to talk about mass incarceration. Now you want to talk about prison industrial complex and write books. Trump revealed himself. That's okay. He has the right to be his own racist self. And these fools do too. And we have the right to make sure that we now change laws to eliminate all this. This is good for this country, the purge.
But Joe.
No, he's proved himself to be a white supremacist he's authorized or he is not discredited. He called them good people. When you call anybody, first of all, why in Europe, if you can't fly a swastika, why the hell are they flying it here? Period. And when you're flying it, you're not doing it in the name of peace.
Okay.
All of these, I don't have a problem with people having freedom of speech, but not when it's leading to negativity and sparking violence. Nobody needs to rationalize that. And that's what's wrong with these socially, politically incorrect MFers in this country. People want to go out on the wrong limb. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And by the way, God deals with wrong. God, you know what God do? He destroys evil. So they lucky they still got their life and their breath. Period.
Okay. Now I understand, and you're absolutely correct. There are some moments that Trump had a chance to really speak out against white supremacy. And he danced around it because he knows a large part of that crowd is his supporters, And again, that's where the politics come into play at, because a man is supposed to stand up for what he believes in, no matter what the agenda is.
Did you just hear what you said? That was some of the funniest ish I ever heard. Because you just said,
we'll speak to it. How so?
Political party. These fools work for us. and ain't no who is your supporters. You see, Biden is just saying it. There is no red and blue. You damn Skippy, it ain't. We've allowed these fools to still get paid for not doing their job and come out and give us bad news. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't pass the law. Oh, we got to do it next session. And we stand here and we allow it to happen. We are idiots. We are sitting here allowing these fools to go home in their Priuses and their Teslas and go to their cottages and all of this pomp and circumstance off our necks and back. Can't breathe. They been had the neck. They knee on our neck and back. We just so stupid, and we just applaud them, and we can't wait to meet with them, and they're nobody. Oh my gosh. Can you feel once the people get the message to treat them like what they are? They are nothing more than an employee. And now it is time for them to get corrected in their comeuppance. Everything that is good, we will have because it's correct. We're not talking about the takeover. We're talking about the makeover. What? Why would we keep complaining about judicial reform or the over sentencing or what are we waiting for these employees to do? Why are we still asking them to contemplate and to figure it out, Joe, and to work it out? That hasn't happened. So now I'm an intelligent person, and I'm challenging all intelligent people. Joe. Why are you sitting by waiting for something to happen and occur when that time is now? So the million taxpayer felon marches. Why? Because everybody needs to be empowered, therefore they can understand to know better, to do better, and then they can expect guaranteed a positive, productive, profitable outcome. If it has no P in it, then you got the P on it.
But, and I hear what you're saying, Joe. But the thing of it is, what our nation needs as a unit, more than anything else, is.
Hello.
Hold up, Joe. Can you hear me?
Oh no, did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
Freedom Fund and the 3 Ps.
No, yeah.
No, I didn't hear you at all. No, I'm sorry, the phone went out.
I'm saying something, right? And I don't know if you can hear me or not because you keep breaking out. It's okay, mommy. So, but what I'm saying though is what we need now more than anything else in this nation is honesty. We need facts, and we need 100% honesty. In my opinion, what I see going on is way too much emotional outcry, way too much emotional outburst, and people are saying a lot of things that just really aren't the truth. And it's causing a lot of miseducation, as you spoke on earlier, right? What I don't like and what scares me, Joe, what I'm scared of, it's not so much as who's in the office. It's how it's going about. And the American people isn't even seeing what's going on. Right. The fact that the most media outlets are most controlled by left mentality. Right. Most of Hollywood is left Democrat. Most of your your publicity, your public outreach is most left mentality. And I really don't think that Americans understand that. You know, I was talking to somebody one day and I'm asking them, we're talking politics. And I'm asking them, well, where do you get your viewpoints from? Do you really gather viewpoints from just one source or multiple source? And this is what he told me. He says, no, I listen to multiple news channels. I listen to CNN. I listen to NBC. I listen to ABC at night, right? These are the news channels that he's calling out. They're all owned by the same company. It's all the same agenda, right? You're getting the same message. So it's like you're going to the same pond to pull out a different fish. But just as the first fish, the second fish is just going to be tarnished because it's the same pond. And this miseducation and this manipulation of education that's going on in America and has been going on, of course, you know, since the dawn of it, is why we are here today. And I think the reason why people are rioting, the reason why people are crying out is because we want the fucking truth, man. We're tired of being lied to and manipulated and told if you vote for us, this will happen.
Okay.
We're tired of
And
that shit. We're
I'm
tired
glad
of
you
being
said
lied
that.
to, man.
I'm gonna invite a lady, if you don't mind, from the West Coast, Lady D, to get on in a second if she got a few minutes, because I wanted to chime in. But this is why I'm pushing this. It's a reality-based concept called the 21st century civil rights movement. This is what we are experiencing. The 20th century is gone. The civil rights era, that is what enables us to be here, to be this free, to do this. But this is continuing. This is the baton, passing the baton. I want to do the felon marches, social media, get everybody woke, and then do marches individually and respectively in everybody's city, just like they've already come out, just like they've come out to riot or to protest. They need to come out for the success of their own society, to know that you don't have to be just angry and mad, that you have the power to change and reform everything, and that we can do it in our lifetime. That's what it's called, achieving the dream. See, people are stuck on, I have a dream. Well, it's time to achieve the dream, because they don't know better to do better. So we got a publication, as you just was speaking about. I was about to jump back in, but ironically, we must be on the same wavelength of positivity, because you start talking about the availability or the lack of information in our media. Well, guess what? Well, I'm putting out this publication. It's been worked on for a while, and I would just say the timing is right now, because just because it's like Walt Disney or other folks, or like someone gave me the example of the bread slicer when it was invented, that everyone laughed and scoffed at the inventor, and they said, what do we need a bread slicer for? We slice our own bread, and it wasn't received well. Neither was the automobile. But 14 years later, once the war started, that bread slicer became such a necessity that it was like all the rave. So I feel like that some things that God has given me, revealed to me, it's like falling in that type of error. I call them my bread slicers. My bread slicer, meaning that it's right vision, wrong time. So this publication, I'm sorry?
I understand that.
Thank you. So
I understand that. That was a great analogy. I love that.
Publishing, by us, for us. So that's what you were leaning to about what the media is, what is their focus. And our publication, actually, it was called Ex Offender. It was called so many things, but what it's actually called is I Need Money Right Now. And people love that name, the inmates. And what this is going to be is an opportunity to, and hopefully want your participation, or some folks that'll help to be able to expand this in a major way. What it's going to do is give inmates their first opportunity to communicate openly with the public. You get me? They'll be able to submit their own stories, their own issues, but they're going to be two versions, because one, we want this to be a pamphlet for an informational guide for inmates, but what they submit will only be published out here. That's their guarantee. But what goes inside there will, of course, be squeaky clean and no caffeine. That obviously it has to pass muster. So by me working in the system, I get that. It won't, say, for instance, you submit, these COs, they're fraternizing with the inmates, or they're fraternizing with other officers in front of us, or there's no protection. Anything is going on. Anything that's of real crucial of content. So we'll print that out here. But when we send a copy in there, it's not going to say anything like that. It'll just have information. So we're calling that creative loafing. There's a section where they'll send information. It's like a hobby craft, but in a publication form. What do you think? Well, we haven't paid for. We, the publisher, praise the Lord, actually is willing to do the layout. But what it is that being so creative, I've had a creative, like a tsunami of creation, and I really need to just get it scaled down so that it can get out. But as well, it needs to be properly. Someone taught me this. They say you got to be prepared for the avalanche. And I've already received thousands of letters from inmates. I can't keep up with it. And what is going to offer is an opportunity. Right now, I'm holding one in my hand. I'm holding a letter, a copy of this inmate's medical records. This is why I'm telling you, I know we need these independent oversight committees. We need them paid for with our money. We don't need to be trying to raise money. Because we need oversight committees to protect inmates. We don't have to beg politicians for or political employees for none of that. You see what I'm saying? The letters that I'm holding, this letter is thick. It is no less than, what is this, like 10, 20 pages, however many pages they can send out of there. I need your help. My life matters. This is my true story. Stamp, legal mail. You see, this is what we want to get this out to the public. Let people, this publication will be so instrumental in helping to launch the reality and the facts, and not just to be another way for us to profit, but for a way to help to improve and to reform injustice. It's about getting coalitions with people like the ACLU. Like we need a class action lawsuit for all wrongful terminations of felons, people who are working and removed from their jobs. The Homeland Security Act was made up by our employees, have disqualified taxpayers from and work, but not restricted or taken away or made exempt them to be a taxpayer. They got to go.
Yeah. So you say you got Lady D from the West
Lady
Coast.
D, you there?
Going
We
to
like
join
to
us.
hear
I have
from
to
you
start
out there,
wrapping this
gal.
up here soon. How long is it going to take her to get in?
I'm here. I'm just going to chime in my thing, but I just want to say thank you for Flav on this platform, because I listen to her every day. Having some more ears to hear what she has to say is very crucial and important, because she's got a lot of great information to share with the people. And if you can get her on any additional platforms with a lot more people to hear what she has to say, and so we can start getting people aware, because what I found out is that people are ignorant. They don't know what they need to know in order to make change. They don't know, and people are afraid of change. So we need to get the word out so they can release their fear of change, knowing that there's a boss. Once they realize there's a boss, they're not going to be scared of nothing. They're not going to be afraid of change, but they don't know yet. So we have to educate them and let them know that they are the boss, that they are in control, that we are all in control, and we can make this thing work. Thank you for having me on your show. What is the name of your show so that I can tune in on Anchor and share it with other people?
Absolutely. So the name of my show is Free Me. And that's the concept of what the show is just freeing us from exactly what you just said, just allowing us to break out of the prisons that we've encased ourselves in, and realizing the power that we truly have as a united nation.
Once again, I'm going to get off of here. Flav, I'll talk to you later. But
thank you,
thank you. Like I said, please share this message with other people and get her on some more platforms.
Oh, before you go, tell them about your personalized mask, please.
Yes, I have several businesses that I have, and one of them is my vaccine. I do.
Plug
I have
them.
unlimited.
Get them out there. Let's hear what you got.
I do T-shirts and face masks and all types of clothes. I'm starting my major clothing line. I also have a publication. I also have a cleaning service out here in Las Vegas. So I'm just a full entrepreneur doing the most. And I'm on my hustle and grind right now. They can reach me at Lady
How do they get a hold of you, D?
Facebook,
how do they get a hold of you?
Instagram, and also my phone number is 619-301-4467. That's I'm open 24/7. My line is open, so call me anytime.
And that's Lady D, D-E-E.
Lady D, that's me.
I wish you give us a little song. Can you give us a little tune while you go out?
And I'm also an aspiring filmmaker.
Can you kick that Manny Petty?
What kind of tune you want, man? I mean, I'm not too good of a You know what you know what I can give you?
Right now.
Oh.
On the next show.
Okay.
Hey, tell Lady D, let me get some always and forever.
Each moment with you. Yeah, my voice is not on today, but that's it for now. Yeah.
Just like a dream
just
to
like our
me
civil rights
that somehow came true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm telling you, man, that's
Thank
a powerful
so much
song,
once
man.
again.
Heatwave came
I'll
through.
be passing that show on, and I'll be tuning in as well. And I'll be talking to you guys later.
Absolutely. You can link up with me. You can link up with me, Lady D, on Facebook under the name of Chris Long.
So we want to utilize celebrities for change, rappers for change, entertainers for change to get the word out. Jay-Z got $50 million up. So this is about, I'm a celebrity reporter. So this is about utilizing the celebrity power that is already generated, as you mentioned, P. Diddy. So hopefully we'll be able to take this coalition and get them, because they have the money, we have the solutions. That's a great Justice Reese Peanut Butter Cup.
No question, man. And again, it's just about unity. It's just about us understanding that you're wasting time hating me when you and I are struggling against the same entity. We have to come together. See, my thing is the government, right? This is why I asked you from the beginning. I know I didn't ask on air, but I had asked you if you, if you'd rather African American or black. You see, I have a biracial daughter, and I know that even though that she's half white, she's always going to be black in America's eyes. So I have to train her that way, and I have to teach her that way. And my understanding is that I don't want my daughter to be referred as African American. Number one, she's never been to Africa, right? And if you're going to use the sense that, well, we all came from Africa, then we're all African Americans.
Caucasian, let me give you this, my brother. It was them black folks that called for that titles. Always remember that. Just like people's calling themselves a returning citizen and a formerly incarcerated citizen, ain't nobody tell them to come up with them crazy behind titles. Them black folks is the one that came up with that.
And what that causes is division. You're creating the same division that they want you to have as American citizens, because of course we know rule number one over conquering is division. You have to divide to conquer. So therefore we label these people, we call them African Americans, we call them, Latin Americans, Cuban, whatever. But you're slashing and you're dividing, and we have to stop that. We have to stop the slashes. We have to stop dividing ourselves. We're all Americans.
That is valid.
We're all struggling. We're all paying the same taxes to the same people.
I would suggest that you obviously learn your child the way you see or wish the world could be, but to give her the side of the reality, meaning, no, baby, you don't call yourself African American, but on that application, when it says that's the part you got to check. So that's just like with felons. It's about removing that period. It's not about explaining yourself or anything like that. We already have a system. We need to improve it.
Well, see, and you're spot on, right? And now that you said that, it jogged my memory because I want to share, right? I want to share what a true reentry is for an inmate that's coming out, right? Because like you say, you're a reentry specialist. Now, how reentry is designed now, right? First and foremost, before this inmate even came home, he's already probably been told no less than 50 times. No, there's no money for him to come home. No, he can't have, a certain individual come pick them up. No, so they're told no constantly. Now, when you're coming out of the door, right, you're told no again when it comes to maybe even halfway house or any kind of reentry program based upon your charge that you just did your time for. So just because you just did, say, 20 years, right, and you have nowhere to go, but you're a bank robber, you're going to be denied reentry programs because of that charge from 20 years ago that you just spent in prison. So you're already coming out of the door on a crutch, right? And then you're told no consistently after that. So how do we turn these no's into yeses that enables people to come home, a true reentry, to come home from a place they should have probably never even been in to begin with, and never go back?
I can't say that I possess all the knowledge, but this is has to do a lot with people and their choices and overall things in our society. I mean, people don't remember that jails actually went through a reform and a change, and I applaud people who put in those efforts that actually helped to reform prisons to its modern standards, albeit it is bad. But what pisses me off is that I see these videos posted from inmates and the terrible conditions or things that are wrong with prisons, and knowing that that organizations refuse to get themselves, or individuals, taxpayers refuse to get themselves straightened or to get them organized to mitigate these issues. Meanwhile, you're still people don't realize that the prison secretary, the warden, they are an employee, and that they must do what they're told to do, and that those who we allow to tell us what to do, we must tell them what to do. And until we start getting this order up, and it's no problem to do it, because no one has a problem with police showing up and showing out. No one has a problem with wardens or superintendents of prisons locking them down. So individuals understand their jobs, but what we've created is a system of what I call robocops. And I used to think, that I used to receive so much resistance when I first started showing up. First of all, I have a mouthful of gold teeth, gold and diamonds, and I come from a different type of background, although I was born, raised in the suburbs, but I start, having life experiences. I start working in different industries, and I start taking on, I guess, maybe what you say, those personas. And when they would see me, they would just be like, checking me out, like, okay, check this broad out. And then I come up in there and I put my thing down and I slam, because I know that what I'm bringing is what the information that these gentlemen need. And I always let them know that you choose to be an animal or you choose to be a human. You choose to be evil or you choose to improve yourself. I get it. You're in the belly of the beast, but ain't nobody got time for your institutionalized ass once you get out.
And that's the truth. But see, man, that's the truth. But see, we don't know that coming out. We don't even know half the time that we're institutionalized. We deny it, right? Because we don't want to admit that we allow the system to manipulate our thoughts and our mind. We want to feel like we have full control over ourselves, But what you said earlier, man, is what the main statement of my mission is to open up prisons. Why are prisons so secluded? Why are we sending our loved ones to a place that could be halfway across the country or halfway across the state? And we're sending our loved ones to a place that when we say we want to come visit, they tell us no, right? And we're sending our loved ones to a place that has no rehabilitative services that are allowing our loved ones to come back into a community
for that. And
in the same
we have
position
to change
that they were in 15 years earlier, right? And this is the point. And this is the point, man. We have to get in there and we have to open these up. The case managers, right? The case managers and counselors should not be an affiliate of the prison whatsoever. It should not be a government official. It should be a national organized leader of some community program, as you said, that has access to these inmates every day and making sure that they're getting ready to come back to the community, right? we need this openness. We need to be able to have, if these community leaders, it's a delegated community leader from a nationally recognized coalition alliance, that this individual is allowed to collect packages from loved ones and bring them to the prison and make sure that the inmates get these packages from their loved ones so they can feel the love from the street versus just a phone call every 15 minutes.
This at you. This is
however.
a part. This is what
Man, you're spot
the
on.
million
You're
taxpayer felon is really felon / inmate. Now, like I said, we want to do the Felon Freedom Fund. Inmates see why they want to support what I'm talking about. I just need the organization of it. They are already ready. They're more than ready. It pains me daily to know that this isn't, but I just say, like I say, it took forever for slavery to end and civil rights to begin. So I'm sure those who fought and died trying, they thought they died in vain. So I'm just saying that the people are here. That's why I'm on. That's how I found you. That's why I'm on this social media. I'm reading all of these people's complaints. They're petitioning, oh, help me get my loved one out. This is wrong. But what they're not realizing is that collectively they are organized. Individually, you are like a grain of sand on the beaches of the world. But collectively, you are the beaches of the world. And that's what they need. We don't need to be figuring out. We need to move forward. So my thought process is to put the money up first. That will get everyone's attention and focus, because people do not be divided over money, or if they are, it's not a bad division. It typically is left or right. But with so many issues that come to the table, no one person will feel validated, or their organization, because they're all saying, I need this, we want that, but they all can get that. But you got to start. It's just like the foundation of a building. It has to start with the groundbreaking. And I'm saying the groundbreaking is the money. Put the money up and everyone will pay attention. Get felons, inmates, not allocated, claimed on taxes. See?
And make sure it's allocated in the right direction.
Because that money, that's what makes the people, the voters. The loved ones are the ones that's paying. They're the ones that are out here and free. But we tell them, felons and inmates, you have the power of influence. Felon, family, and friends, the triple F threat. Inmates can get and influence their loved ones who to vote for. They'll never see it coming. See, I got this. God gave it to me all left, right, top, side, and bottom. This is Operation Submarine, airtight. Then we go after the DRs and the CCs. See why? What's in it for inmates? What's in it for you is that we will end and begin things in there for productivity. Instead of them requesting and wanting and pleading, we can get typewriters returned. We can get education implemented, and we can get the DRs and CCs off of them. Why? Because that's something that was implemented. That is not a requirement. You were sentenced to incarceration, not sentenced to a life of a merry-go-round of Chapter 33.
Well, with that being said, Flav, man, you've been a great guest, man. I'm so thankful that you reached out to me.
Achieve the dream and change our society? That's the POA, plan action. And inshallah.
We're going to keep this thing.
Thank you for having me on. And let's go nationwide. We could be bigger than
it, mommy. So you take care of yourself and you be safe and
I had a show called Politics. I'm in the process. Someone wants me to do the flavor in your ear. It doesn't matter what it's called. All I want to let taxpayers know is that you're the boss is more than just a saying and a slogan. It's big facts and a reality. And if anybody need to hit me up, you can holler at your girl. Taxpayers, the number 4 change, 866-909-2929, 866-909-2929. And remember, God is not going to grow a money tree. If you want to become a millionaire, sell 1 million bottles of water. Don't stop hustling. Change your product. Peace.
Okay. All right.
Good
So I'm
looking.
gonna get back with you. We're gonna holler at you, man, and
Hey,
I'm
them
gonna have
bullies
you
with
back on the
badges,
show again. But
we
until
gotta get
then,
rid of
man,
them.
stay safe, okay? Stay out them police way. So that wraps up another great conversation, man. I feel like, I hope that y'all agree. I hope there was some education in there for you guys, and I hope that you guys hear what I say and you start self-analyzing yourself as, what can I do and how can I be better? One thing we have to always remember, like she says, like I say, like people say, we are the boss. I am the boss. These officials are elected officials that we put in place to represent us. We are the production. We are the producers, right? Without us, none of this shit goes. So we always have to remember that. We are the ones that put these people in place. We just have to educate ourselves, one, on our self-value as a citizen, and two, how much power we actually do have, how many rights we do have. And this is why certain political parties are always trying to make amendments and create laws that suppress those rights as much as possible to allow them to continue with the power that they have. That's very important. You have to be able to stop and look around and see what's going on around us. The suppression of rights is going on everywhere around the world. And it's always subtle. See, we look for drastic changes because we think that, in our lifetime, we're going to see this monumental change, and it doesn't happen that way. It's generational, just over time, with the common agenda and the common goal of understanding of whatever that particular agenda is. So it's subtle little drastic changes every 10, 15 years that we don't even recognize. And those changes come always in the midst of some sort of disaster. It's almost like they got these fucking bills sitting on a desk, and as soon as a disaster hits, bam, they slip this bill in there under the guise of the disaster, i.e. Patriot Act. If you know anything about the Patriot Act. If you don't, you need to research that and you'll understand exactly what it is that I'm saying. And it just seems like every time pernicious bills are passed is a disaster. Now we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and I think the American citizens are starting, well, maybe even the global citizens are starting to realize this. And maybe that's where you're starting to see a lot of this buck action come from. People bucking against the system because they don't trust it. Maybe they see the same thing that I see. Every time a natural occurrence happens, some natural disaster, there is always something that comes behind it that is taking away a small amount of our rights, our freedom of speech. Our freedom of speech is under attack. And I don't know if the American people is realizing it, again, because going into prior episodes, we're going into talking about distractions. We're distracted constantly, so we're not seeing what's going on around us. We're constantly distracted with stress from bills, work, play, at just so many different distractions. And this is what evil looks for. They produce the distractions in order to create the agenda that they want, the veil. The veil of secrecy. They have to invent some sort of veil to keep the people distracted, keep the people arguing, whether it's racial, whether it's just whatever the distractions are. So the point of it is pay attention. If you feel that a distraction is upon you, try to look up under the carpet. Try to see why the distraction is there and why they want you to pay attention to a particular thing. Right? How do you know that these are distractions? When every time you change the channel, there's a certain agenda being pushed on the channel, whether it's an event going on in the news, whatever it is, that a lot of times when it's creating mass hysteria, mass, anything to do with the masses, right? It's a distraction. It's a distraction. And it's a distraction to implement other ideologies. Ideologies that the common people would not agree with, which is why we have to be distracted, for one, and which is why, two, we always have to feel like we're not the ones that are empowered. We're the ones being told what to do. We're the ones that are working and we're paying taxes to tell these people what to do with us. That is what they want us to believe, but that is not the Constitution. You heard in a prior episode, if you listen to Courtney, every citizen should know at least the Bill of Rights. You should know your Bill of Rights at least. And I'm guilty of this. I can't call out the Bill of Rights, but I'm going to learn them because I know that I should. You know? And that's a shame on me, because as much as legal knowledge as I have, and I don't even know the Bill of Rights, let alone the Constitution, but the Bill of Rights. And these are laws established to protect me from the tyranny of the government. That is what the Constitution is. Yet I don't even know it. Do you? So these are the important questions that we have to know. We have to stop fucking around, man. There's serious shit going on. We have to stop fucking around and paying attention to what's going on, and we have to know the truth. And you're not going to get the truth from the news. We cannot get our truth from the news. We cannot get our truth from our neighbors. We have to get the truth from ourselves and how we're going to orchestrate the rest of our lives, and how we want our nation to come together and be a strong nation of people, not of government. This is a strong nation of people, not government. So, man, it's on us. And I really feel like time is of the essence, man. I really feel like this is a crucial time. If you stop and pay a fucking attention to what's going on around in the world, man, right? Pay attention to what's going on around in the world and get to the root. Don't listen to what the media is saying about it. Get to the root and understand what is going on between government and its citizens around the world. My people in other countries, please chime in and let me know. And I'll put you on the show so we can understand what is going on. This is a crucial time of awareness. You know, it's a crucial time of awareness, man. And we need to wake up. We need to fucking wake up, man, and get serious. You know, and get serious. So that's what I'm trying to bring these conversations to you. I got a lot more woke to do myself, and I'm trying to do that through these conversations. You know, these are just really essentially conversations for myself to have with people, and I'm just sharing them with the world so you guys can hear these conversations that I'm having, and hopefully maybe you can see things that I don't. We can enlighten each other. But the point of this here is a broadcast to bring us all together so we can figure all of this shit out, right? That's what the point of my broadcast is. So until then, man, I love each and every one of you, man. I'm giving y'all hugs. I hope y'all feel it. I love you. Y'all stay strong and stay safe. And peace out, man. I love y'all. Peace.
Are we there?
There you go.
Touchdown. Well, I figured I just relinked back in because it looked like it was trying to sink in. So I'm gonna catch on.
No, you got it, man. You got it. I was just hanging tight. So how you doing today, Flav?
The angry activist is just so pissed off. I got a lot to fire off, a lot of great solutions again, and common sense, and just empowering knowledge for taxpayers, you know, to stop complaining and start reclaiming. We got a new slogan over here. Results, not rejection. How you like that? Taxpayers for change. Results, not rejection. That's all taxpayers get is rejected. You get rejected on all levels, and all you need is results. How you like them green apples?
Results, not rejections, huh? I like
That's
that.
right. Results, not rejection.
That's a good positive progressive statement, man. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. It coincides with our no campaign, which is no equals no election, no re-election. Now, what we about to do once again is we're helping to elevate and help taxpayers get felons, citizens, and when we say reiterate that the word taxpayer means all citizens, not people who pay taxes. It is a difference.
What makes a citizen? What makes you a citizen?
Little technical difficulty. Say that again, bro.
So just help define for the listeners exactly what a citizen is and what it represents.
Okay, un momento. Sorry. How can I help you? Hey, how are you, sir? One moment. Okay, so yes, sir, Mr. Wine. Who you with? I'm sorry. I know I contacted you, but I'm saying, are you with a specific organization?
No, I'm not with no specific organization. I mean, I run my own, but I am not with.
Okay, then you have one. The reason why I contacted you was because we see lots of folks. What we're doing is taxpayers for change, a way out, not a handout, and for results, not rejection. A lot of folks who are running their own nonprofits are getting rejected by their employees who are politicians or the police. So we see a lot of folks fighting for different things, wrongful convictions, over sentencing, whatever the gamut is, if it's for, increase of salaries or minimum wage. It doesn't matter, bees, trees, or manatees. So reaching out to you to link up and try to form networks nationally like people already are, but to actually to achieve and to get action going versus just conversation. There's too much conversation. Everybody knows the problems, but there aren't any tangible solutions manifesting.
I agree with you.
So
I've been saying that for years since I got out.
Well, the issue is that the average inmate or felon doesn't realize they're the boss and that the politician isn't. And we're united, but we're not solidified, meaning it's like Jello that hasn't set. It's no good. So with everyone being the boss, the one president, the 50 governors, all the rest, Congress, they're all employees. So when people understand how to move forward with that knowledge, then they will start getting results versus keep complaining, protesting, marching, petitioning. That's all forms of begging the employee. So I'm asking people like yourself, let's link up, let's lock in. This election, this means nothing. This is a continuous thing. And that's why people are missing the ball. The point is not you wait every 4 years. Now everyone wants to go home. They think they've worked hard and done the most. You haven't done anything. That's how everything is screwed up, because everyone goes home when now you get the work. Joe Biden and Harris don't get the work. We get the work. They're there to manage and do what we tell them to do. And when we don't show up, that's how they end up doing what the hell they want to do. And then that screws us. No jobs, no rights, so this is the end of zero tolerance. So that's why I'm hollering at people like you guys. You look pretty serious. So I'm saying if real men are serious, this is a time to step up and actually benefit off of God's blessings, because it's time to be free at last and win the war on poverty and all these things people blog and talk about and write books on and seminars. But I don't see no money. So if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So I'm starting off with our jobs back first of all. The government, we are the government. The politicians aren't the government. So therefore, why have we allowed them to take away city, state, county, federal government jobs? That's the first thing to set right. Once we start with the money, everything else will fall like an avalanche. What you think?
It sounds good. I mean, I agree with a lot of stuff that you're saying because it's true. I mean, we're getting the shitty end of the stick.
We allowing ourselves to get it. You see, they just begged us for the job. If they were the boss, they wouldn't have begged us for the job. What it is that we have wrong leadership. We have misinformed leaders. They calling people felons, returning citizen, formerly incarcerated. Nobody is that. A felony is an adjudication. Why would people sit up here allowing themselves to be, are you a felon? Nobody's a felon. That term is even wrong. It's have you been convicted of a felony, which even if you have, it's no reason for us. So we've been discriminated against. We're begging for reparations. The word is compensation. All wrongful terminations. Everything I'm saying can and will be done. With everybody, if they stop marching and petitioning and rioting, we'll get this done.
Okay. So what is it that you're seeking from me at the moment?
To bring this meat to the table with you guys that are already there for us collectively. We have to start somewhere. The conversation must come to action. So I'm seeking out people who are ready to move forward with achieving the dream, being free at last. And this is the realest example I can give you. Until recent history, there's been no progress on no level with regard to citizen, like nationwide, except for with homosexuals. They band together and realized they were the boss, and that's how they achieved gay rights. So this is the recipe that works. Marching doesn't work, complaining doesn't work, and until people start like, how are we going to repeal 1020 life? 3 strikes you're out. Because we are going to demand that our employees do what they're hired for, or else they won't be there anymore. We can guarantee that because we truly are their boss. And everybody that just came out and marched and petitioned or rioted, they came out by the millions. So they have to understand that the powers are, the numbers are us, because it's only 51 of them. 50 governors and 1 president. That's 51 employees that we are allowing to destroy our entire nation.
Okay. All right.
So I want to continue the conversation with you. I want to send you some info. We got the Felon Freedom Fund. Basically, I want to lock in with folks that are already doing stuff except for accomplishing what they fighting for. And I ain't trying to be no smart ass. God gave me this because what is everybody fighting for if not to achieve what they want to do? You want wrongful convictions, whatever turned off you want, whatever you want. What are you fighting for? This mission is to help everybody understand to stop begging, pleading, and negotiating, and for us to do a united front of zero tolerance.
Okay. Well, yeah. Send me information. I'll read, and if I could do something to help, I'm definitely there.
Well, this is a continuous mission. Thank you. It's just about launching it. I'm a celebrity reporter. We want to get the rappers involved. Whoever. See, whatever y'all like. If you're a business owner, so you get business owner involved. If you're a former gang leader, if you're a former biker, it don't matter who you are. And I work in the prisons. I'm a reentry employment specialist. So I'm in Florida. I got I ain't going to say the entire state, but pretty much they down. So inmates are ready. They deserve education. They deserve typewriters back. So this is about a coalition to implement things that have never been done before and to take care of it, to stop talking about this wrong, this right, what's this and that. We are the boss. We don't have to have one prison secretary. And his job is to secure inmates, not to rule over them or make their lives miserable. There will be no reform, no change unless we move forward with a plan of action that will gain results. Other than that, what is everybody trying for inmates if they're not doing nothing? And I know inmates are ready for change. So thank you.
Okay. All right, well, yeah. Send me info, I'll read, and like I said, anything that I can do to help, I'm here.
All right, I'll follow up with you. I appreciate you. I know this is the holiday time, but, you know, injustice don't sleep or take a vacation, and neither do I. So thanks a lot.
Right. I don't do holidays, but I thank you for giving me the info.
Yeah, and no doubt. And thanks for calling and reaching back out, because this is real. I know a lot of people be trying to be in y'all folks' ear, but at the end of the day, this make dollars and make sense. So I hope that you'll spread the word and know now from here on out, wow, man, I'm about to start doing this different. We're going to start locking in, talking to these people different when we sit at the table, let them know, hey, bro, it ain't. And remember, that it ain't nothing disrespectful, but what we're allowing to continue to happen to us. Discrimination. People say, well, it sounds like you kind of angry. Angry? Who ain't people out? I didn't go out there and riot. So these people suffering from post-traumatic political police stress disorder. Alleviate people before they riot, because we don't have to riot. We can get our jobs back, get our lives back, get our whole. We can move forward with positive, productive, profitable mission. That's what this is about. Nonviolence and positiveness. So that's what I want to state that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, peace. All right, my bad. I just had to take a little impromptu, but I'm glad it was able to catch.
No, that was a good conversation. But let's do this here, Flav, right? Because I'm listening to you, okay? And for somebody that isn't aware of what it is that you're speaking of, right? To them, this may sound like a rant, like an angry rant. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
And you and I both know that it isn't. So the importance of this is about education. So it's not so much as preaching to the choir, because you and I, we understand what the message is, you know, so we could speak in a quick linguistic way as what you're doing and follow each other. But for the listeners that are not aware, let's break this whole thing down. Okay. So what do you mean when you say that we are the boss?
Well, what the politicians mean when they say we are the boss, as the taxpayer and the government, there's a process, and we have a democracy. So democracy, I'm not going to break down all the meanings of it, but what it amounts up to is that the political rulers, or wrong words, the political citizens, they're citizens that become politicians.
Well, they're known as political leaders. This is what they're known as. This is what the common reference is that they're political leaders. Is that a wrong term for them?
That is the terminology. But what I've discovered is that is a 20th century terminology. What I'm trying to bring forth is that to refer to them as they truly are, which is employees. Now, what has happened?
How are they employees?
Okay, so they're employees because, one, bottom line, they receive a paycheck. That's it. They receive a paycheck.
From who? Who pays them?
They are paid out of our tax dollars, government funding.
Okay, so by that terminology, then they're employees of us, which means that we're the boss.
They're on the payroll. How that translates is we just hired them. The vote is how they get elected. So that's what they say, we work for you. And those words are true, except for they don't manifest once we allow them into political office. What is happening is there is no oversight of politicians. There is no judiciary oversight. And by the way, all our tax dollars pay for everything. So what I am now introducing as of what God just gave me to sprinkle on y'all good citizens out here is not just independent citizen oversight, political and police oversight committees, but now to actually have divisions to deal with over convictions, over sentencing, and wrongful convictions. Why? Because why would ordinary citizens have to, and it's a way to mitigate this. They're called, wait for it, I know everybody knows this, well, not everyone knows this word. Interns, those who are going to school for law. So we don't have to worry about no budgets or nothing. We can have people sitting up. If you got tons of people, why do we have to have, and they're good to have, don't get me wrong, organizations like Innocent Project, when that proves that we shouldn't have an organization. We should have a division within our own judiciary. Nobody's never thought of that before. So before I leave this earth, America KKK, I'm going to help y'all get woke. I'm going to help y'all get lifted. I'm going to help y'all get free at last and win the war on poverty and achieve the dream, and all these little sugar-coated sprinkle things y'all try to put on SHIT and act like it ain't SHIT.
Flav, say that again, Flav. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. That was an awareness that you brought to me that I'm like, wow, why isn't that? Repeat what you just said.
Which part, baby?
The part about the Innocence Project.
Oh, okay. I'm saying that what has become, and mind you, this is why we don't need to ask the question why. When we discover things, what we need to do is get our employees, aka politicians, political Ponzi scammers, to do their jobs. Stop allowing them to go into session and come out and say they got to wait to the next session. No, it ain't no next session. See, I watch these fools. What are you doing in there why are you arguing? Who goes to work? Imagine you go to work and the job description is you got to do research that day. And half the office says, well, we're not going to do the research from Q to Z. We're going to do the research from A to Z or A to B. And then the other half says, no, we're going to do and everybody just starts arguing about who's going to start where. And then at the end of the shift, nobody has gotten anything done. Well, guess what? I would think that almost everybody in that room would not be coming back to that job. So that's how we got to start explaining stuff to average citizen taxpayers. This is what the dealio is. You are allowing your employees, because none of them are there. They're too busy watching the Real Housewives and watching Honey Boo Boos and watching this cooking show and this art show. They ain't watching their money. They ain't watching their employees. And then all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh, 10-20 life, 3 strikes you're out. Yeah, because y'all not paying attention. And you too busy paying attention to organizations, people, places, and things who ain't going to help you change the laws, eliminate these problems, get rid of this discrimination, reverse and repeal, and do all the things that's necessary. Because if you were on point, I would not be having this conversation. We would be talking about, let's implement the new deal, like that. Like all the crack neighborhoods, they need to be rehabbed. Now, if your mayor or your governor is not talking about that, that's job creation. How about the fact that all our government buildings need to have solar energy? Why are we wasting our money? That's our tax dollars, but y'all fools is too stupid to figure that out, because you be trying to figure out who Ray and Tay them should be dating and who real baby daddy is. That part. So now here's some solutions. We cut and trim back the fat on everything. Number one, take all government employees out of rented real estate. Collectively, those are millions of dollars. We need committees that will go back and streamline, and then we can put our money into our neighborhoods, because we're sitting here allowing these fools to waste our money at will. You're not there, and then you go to a little town hall meeting every now and then, or county commissioner, and why are we sitting there fighting and arguing with the employees? Why do we stand in a line to plead with them? We stand in the line to hire and elect these fools so they could turn around and lord over us. We are idiots. We've got this backwards. It's screwed. The balance of injustice, the scales is off because we allow them to be. Let's set them balance. See, that's a myth. You know, out in front of the courthouse here in Tampa, bro, they got a big ass statue, Lady Justice, Injustice better, with the scales off. Well, that's because we're off. We're idiots.
And man, listen, Flav, man, you're spitting some real good stuff, man. Again, another good point. Why is our government buildings not solar powered? Why are we paying for them to go through the amount of electricity that they go through, man? You're spot on.
Because it's dead. Because they have an unlimited bank account. It's called taxpayer money, and we're not on it.
Of course. And then what you say about, standing in lines or whatnot, but this is what I've been saying for the longest. Like, all of these families, I feel like, that are wasting their times out here in the hot sun with picket signs, begging these people that they've elected, as you say, to put in office for change, right? Like, how is this occurring? How are we putting people in place that we stand with signs and picket on? Now we don't want them in place.
People are delusional. They are under some sort of Jim Jones juice. I can't blame them, because I used to be the same way. I'm telling you, God woke me up. God is tired of people begging him, praying to him.
Right, but let's not call it no Jim Jones juice, right? Because let's put it really where it is, right? Put it on the person. It's our fault, like, as you say.
Yeah,
but
and
the Jim Jones
juice, one that took the Jim Jones juice.
Right, but the Jim Jones. But what is the Jim Jones juice?
My point is this: that people will follow what is destructive. And that's what people looked at Jim Jones and say, how could people do that? But sometimes there's no explanation. Only God knows. But the righteous, the sensible will prevail, because they want their jobs. They want money.
Flav, hold up. So, but the Jim Jones juice, right? Now, for me, the Jim Jones juice is distractions, okay? This is one of the main things and one of the main topics of my shows, is how the government places distractions out there for us every day, all day long. They keep us distracted so that we're not thinking and seeing about what's really going on. That's the Jim Jones juice, you see? So, and these distractions come to you through ways of media, news, constantly putting over the news about race riots. They're constantly trying to keep us in fear, one, and two, keep us divided and keep us hating each other, so that our eyes are on each other versus the government. That's the Jim Jones juice. Am I correct?
Well, not by a long shot, because here's some fast facts. And I ain't mad at people, because, like I say, when the Hebrews, Israelites, whatever you want to call them, Jews, cried out to God, and God sent them Moses, they complained. So that's what I've been experiencing. That's why I don't just come up with these words. It may sound, I'm trying to be humorous in the time of tragedy, what we're going through, chaos, but it's not funny in the least. So calling them political Ponzi scammers, I'm dead on. That's what they are. This is a political Ponzi scam. I'm calling for political RICO Act. We're allowing them to pardon themselves. And then when I say these things, it falls on people's ears. You know what it is? It's too much. It's overload. The truth is too much for people to take.
Though, Flav, though, too. You know what a lot of it is, though, as well, is, and this is why I'm very careful with my show and my listeners, because I really want to break things down so people can understand, because this is about education. I think a lot of it is that people hear what we say, but they don't see an agenda behind it. So they sit back and they say, why would politicians do this? What is the reason why they would run this big conspiratorial Ponzi scheme? You see what I'm saying? and it's hard for people to understand the agenda behind government.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, so like I I'm glad that you talk the way you talk, because this is how I work best. What the breakdown is. It's the Wizard of Oz. You get me? Off to see the wizard. You see the wizard behind the curtain. That's the so-called politician government. But the people not really knowing, like Dorothy, Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, never really knew that they already possessed what it was that they were off down the road trotting for. Oh, how you like these analogies, your listening audience. You're feeling me? You're looking for something that you already have. We're already the boss. They beg us for the job, then we allow them to get it. You know, it might go a little bit fast over people's head, but it shouldn't take that much common sense to understand that your vote is not your voice. It's your paycheck. It's your job. It's not going to take people long to realize that you're begging your employee for something that they've been giving themselves. If anything, we are going to start voting to give them pay raises. We got to wait forever and a day for 15 an hour. Mind you, taxpayers, that's in 2026. So I started a campaign called 15 Now, not 2026. See, my campaigns, my stuff is about the here and now and immediate future, not in 4, 5, 6, 10 years still begging. That's what people are doing. That's the okie doke. And the biggest thing that I'm going to point out now that people are so broke is the fact that you just allowed Biden, Trump, and everybody before them to raise. I am calling for the end of political fundraising. You know why? Because nobody raises money to get a job. Nobody raises money to get a job at Walmart, Home Depot. If that's the case, then everybody needs to start raising money. Hey, I need to raise money because, I'm going to need a bus pass. I need to raise money because, I'm going to need a car. I'm going to need that gas money. I need to raise money for my job because I'm going to need lunch money. I'm going to need clothes. I'm going to need those steel-toe boots. Oh my gosh, I think I should just get me a manager and just go on the road and do this political comedy show.
And I agree with you. And I believe that the political should stay out of media, right? Because media is so slanted left, right? You get so many messages from the left side versus the right side. And it's all psychological, man. It's all psychological warfare. Through this whole election process, on almost every channel that I would watch TV on, I would see 5, maybe 8 Biden commercials to one of Trump's, right? So again, it's a slanted process and it's subliminal, and people don't even realize that these messages, like all of this stuff, is put together by some of the world's top shrinks. They know what they're doing. They know how to read you. They know how to reach you. They know how to manipulate you. And they use that with media. So,
well, I'm a top shrink too. I'm a top shrink too.
Political should stay out of all of that, man.
Well, I like your fairy tale conversation, but I'm a realist. So the reality is unemployment discrimination.
What's fairy tale about it, though?
Because
those are facts.
Because it's no disrespect to you. this is the bottom line.
No.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You hear the way I'm talking about getting people their jobs back, getting their rights back. I'm not giving another complaint. Oh, I'm not talking about that BS ban the box crap that never got nobody no job, but they spent millions of dollars. That's all game in the hustle. Oh, maybe you missed this.
Mm-hmm.
I am a political investigative news reporter now. You see, I ain't playing. All it is to report to the public. Now, if they choose to accept it and wake up, guess what? They need jobs. They begging for reparations. See, how stupid will you be to actually be able to obtain something that you're begging for? And when somebody give you the solution, you look a gift horse in the mouth, you cut your nose out to spite your face, all that crap. You get me?
I know, but Flav, hear me out, man. I'm calling bullshit, man, because you saying that you're a political investigator,
news reporter. Tell it all.
Okay, but you seem slanted to me, man.
You know. I'm also a social reformist. I wear many hats. See, I worked in the prison system for over 10 years. Unlike a lot of people talking about reentry, I'm a pioneer in it. Get that impression.
Then how can you be an advocate? If that's so, then how can you be an advocate for Biden or Harris?
I'm not an advocate for nobody. I'm an advocate for taxpayers. Biden and Harris ain't nothing but an employee. Are you listening? They an employee. My job is to wake up taxpayers so that they understand. Biden ain't coming up with nothing cute. Harris neither. We supposed to be we'll do this. If you elect me president, you gonna do what we tell you to do. That's what people so dumb. They sitting up here waiting on him to come up with a plan of action, and that's what it's not about. That's what this message is. Right. Stop sitting up here playing the fool, America KKK.
Why isn't life working that way? Let's break this down. What you say is true, right? We know that to be true, but that's not reality, and that's not how
the reality
works.
is.
So why is that?
It is working. Listen, what I'm saying. I said this is some recent-ish. The Lord just woke me up. I was dumb too, but not really. See, if you listen to 10 years ago, I've been interviewed. I've been on more radio. I've been saying it. We the boss. Matter of fact, Facebook every now and then it reposts your stuff. Say, here go your memories on Facebook. Man, that's all I'm ever talking about is we the boss. But it never dawned on me what that really meant. So that's why America KKK don't get it. But who did get it was them homos. They got it. And that's how they got gay rights. They were begging the employee, the political Ponzi scammer for decades. They was begging them. Flav. And then overnight, they got it.
Flav, don't disrespect the people, Flav.
What do you mean? The word homo, I'm sorry, them homosexuals. What do you mean, disrespect? Are you kidding me? I don't like being socially, politically correct or incorrect.
I know that.
I'm going to call them what they call themselves. You ever been on a gay website? You know what they call themselves? They call themselves twinks.
I haven't been on no gay website.
And all kind of stuff. Well,
I know that, but see again, but now all jokes aside.
Oh, I'm sorry, the alphabet or committee crew. I'm sorry the alphabet crew.
The LGBTQ.
No. Right. Everybody knows what you are. If you're a homosexual, you're just that. Be big and proud because now you can walk around hugged up, kissed up. Good for you. I don't give a damn. The point is, they had enough sense to finally realize and recognize who the damn boss is. Damn they sexual preference. They a taxpayer. I don't care who you sleep with. And matter of fact, they all need to go back in the closet because, I want straight pride parades. I want every straight person to come out and walk around with their fists up and tight shorts talking about, I'm straight, I'm proud, I'm straight, I'm proud. I'm being, sarcastic. We need to let that thing go. So what? Y'all do y'all thing. Whoopie-doo. I'm from Philly. So we got... we've been open society before they even thought to be an open society out here. New York, Philadelphia. Whoopie-doo. They got their rights. They recognized they was the boss. And now every day on their sites, they're saying why I follow them is because of the the politicalness of what they're accomplishing, that's because we need to follow those same paths. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to put a fresh spinner on it.
I hear you. And you know,
it's not tiring.
I don't understand.
You're exhausted. You know why? Because you're probably hearing something so fresh. You just don't know how to get it right.
Hold on, Flav. Let me tell you.
Let me stay out your mouth and your mind. Go ahead.
I'm exhausted because, you know, to me it's common sense that people just really aren't even seeing. They're not even aware. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier about the distractions, because in reality, a person's day, right? Unless you have the comforts of unless you have financial comforts, right? I don't care what anybody says. Money gives you freedom, right? So unless you have that type of freedom, your day consists of just surviving for the most part. You get up, you work all day, you come home, you cook, you clean, you tend to the children, whatever they got going on. By the time you sit down, you just have a little bit of leisure time for yourself before you have to go to sleep and do it all over again, right?
Yep, daily life.
And America has designed it with this so-called freedom, right, that we have. They have designed it in a way that any leisure time that you do have, there's so many distractions that is available to you, right? Just to keep your mind occupied off of anything other than self, right? And this is why our family units are coming apart at the seams, you know, because there is no family unit. People think just because we take our kids to Disney World once a year or something, that's a family unit. You know, and we just got
to be able to determine what it is that they want to live and how they want to live. We don't have cookie cutter recipes, right? I mean, I get what you're saying.
Well,
are you talking about the American way, the ward and the leave it to beaver lifestyle, picket fence, kid go to college? That's all a facade. That's some crap that people made up.
No, I'm talking about everyday people living in America and how distracted they are, and that these distractions were put in place on purpose to keep us distracted, right? So that some of these ideologies that we're talking about can be implemented. One thing that people aren't realizing, right, is that slowly but surely we're losing our right to free speech. People are not realizing that this stuff does not occur overnight, right? This stuff happens gradual over a process, generation after generation. But slowly things are being implemented to take away our right to free speech. As we were just discussing about homo earlier. You know, I shouldn't have to come behind you and correct you on that, or not correct you, but, you know, just make a statement on it at all, right? I shouldn't have to do these things. But because we've become so publicly sensitive, you know, because we can't deal with our own emotions, we want other people to not affect our emotions. You know, we've just become so sensitive. I would rather create a law, Flav, to stop you from saying homo, right? Just to stick with this example, I would rather create a law to stop you from saying homo. And in some countries now, they're actually pushing for that to be criminally charged to call somebody out like that. This is how pernicious this is getting.
When in fact a homosexual is the terminology, sir. And excuse me for cutting you off, but I want to jump in here. Can I? Thank you. Like the N-word, for instance. Now, white supremacists and terrorists. I've been posting these things, like literally writing up like a blueprint, like, because what I see, my mind as a journalist automatically takes off on its own self, and the creativity flows out, like when a painter picks up a brush. So what I start realizing was that this goes back to we're the boss. If America, KKK, all America is complaining about this and up in arms, and when I mean by all, I mean all you see. all those people on TV, all those people marching in the street, all those people protesting, all those signs up. That's what I mean by all. Obviously, it ain't every damn body in the country. Obviously, just like them white supremacists and them Confederates are not all white people. And I'm just going to keep saying this loud and proud. I want to have a white appreciation day because black people have been hoodwinked and bamboozled into thinking that for some odd reason they orchestrated their own exodus and freedom. White folks of a different time and place and space enslaved. But I believe, just like with any other race of people who've been enslaved on the earth, black people don't need to be complaining because we wasn't the only one. And I believe that if you got taken all the way from your motherland like that, that it was not something that was likely. I believe God's hand is in everything. And why people keep claiming God, Allah, whoever they claim, and acting like the devil. So if the times of old are to be our example, then why people are missing these things like what? So our ancestors may have struggled and suffered, but we are causing our own modern struggle and suffering. And that's the message. And then got the audacity to come to God to beg him. That's what people do every day. I've dealt with thousands of individuals. Oh God, I need a job. Oh God, I need to pay my bills. Oh God, oh God, oh God. So if you are crying out to God,
well, yeah, but
for problems,
what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mama.
I'm saying that we are our own solution. The Lord has blessed us that we are truly free, and that's why I'm out here spreading this message.
You're absolutely correct. But the thing of it is, though, the dichotomy that we're in is that, again, like you say, we've been hoodwinked, we've been bamboozled, we've been run amok. And the thing of it is that, especially for white people, and I feel like for the white people, the white Americans at this point, we're starting to understand that our whole history is pretty much a lie, and we've been deceived. We're the ones, again, that been bamboozled, you see, and that's a hard thing to understand. It's a hard thing to understand. Going into Kaepernick, like when all of this started to come down over George Floyd and all that, and all of this circulated into the NFL, and Breeze, when I guess you could say that white people were being questioned as to where they stood, which is a good thing, and Drew Brees had made the comment that he didn't care. He didn't care about anything, and I'm paraphrasing, please, but it was along the lines as he would not take any disrespect toward the American flag, and when he said that, of course, the nation came down on him for the miseducation that he had behind that whole movement, and it's just about education.
Can I jump back in? This crap is so this shit is so superficial.
Jump
Let me
in.
give you a quick breakdown in history. First of all, I don't represent the black community or all black people just because I am black. This is a basic observation of me as a social reformist and a community resource provider. I have been working with and in the black community for over 15 years now. So these are observations that I'm making, not something, and what I see on TV, the media, or individuals writing me or whatever. Black folks can't take each other. And they just killed each other over Popeye chicken sandwiches. They just killed each other over gangbanging for over 3 decades. There was no fight for justice. They had their little Stop the Violence movement, but there was nothing like what has happened this day. So whether it's a new millennial thing, whether it's these newbies, I don't know, but I want people to get this impression. They better shut up because they can talk crap and act like they really care. But if you really cared, you would have about your brother or the black man or anything else. Wrong is wrong anywhere. I'm just glad that social media is now able to expose the modern day lynching methods of bullies with badges or wrongful employees. That's all they are. The ones that are wrong need to be removed. They need to be prosecuted. We need to take down this blue wall of protection because they're only employees. If you're doing your job, then do your job. That's what it is. We have allowed people to become big, where they say they too big for their britches. These positions, these titles, they have lost their minds. They are only employees. You receive a paycheck. You are on the payroll. So this is what we must make the rubber meet the road. Stop giving excuses, stop asking questions, and trying to figure out what's already right in front of your face. Nobody, by the way, I haven't heard God mention this whole entire time. Not during the pandemic, not during Trump administration. And if you look around, before the crack era, there were all of these black churches because black people were suffering. But now they think they ain't sufferings no more. Well, here's a big clue for them. Nobody never intended for black folks to have anything. We only have God to thank, God over devil, because we were underfoot. Now, because people so looking at Real Housewives or whatever show they watching, they're not watching these lynching shows, these lynching episodes where they show all of these white people standing around somebody they done mutilated or murdered, and right there in the picture you see them, but black people too dumb to realize, black leaders too stupid to actually implement this. Why have we used our own tax dollars to prosecute and persecute Nazi war criminals? That shit happened over in Europe, but we use our own money to prosecute and hunt them down. Our own millions of dollars have been used to hunt down Nazi war criminals across the globe, and our efforts, but not nobody is prosecuting them white damn murderers that's right there in them pictures and still alive to this day. They don't want it like this. To this day, all these stupid black folks around this country still begging one superintendent employee and 5 or 7 school board members to implement what they say should. Listen to what the people say now, what they want, what should be happening. But still, they sit back and allow a city council right here in Tampa, Florida. Taxpayers can't sell water on the corner. With your own taxpayer funded corner, you have allowed your employees who go home in their Priuses and their Teslas, go home to their new condos built over there on Palm Avenue. I don't see no people of color living. No, by the way, every single place that has been built up used to be a crack dope area. They tore it down and no new housing is built there. All where black people live don't live there no more. And the new project that's right downtown, they tried their best. Employees tried their best not to rebuild it. And the last piece of black property has just been sold off. Central Park, that's right behind the courthouse. That's what took this so long. Every other project that was remodeled. And by the way, why is it the only new housing for black people is a project in this city? Because they too dumb to realize that's all they own money. And I'm the only one telling them that these corners are your corners. They got this law up under a panhandler's law. I had a meeting with that city councilman Goose. I'll send you the flyer. And I told him, I said, what do you think taxpayers are going to do when they find out that you, an employee, are denying them the right to earn money? I said, you guys are committing political suicide and you don't even know it. I said, in the near future, it's not going to be anarchy. It's going to be a political purge. And that's what I'm calling for.
Well, what's the reason? What's the reason they're not letting anybody sell water on the corner?
Because they said that's what. No, they said that's what taxpayers wanted. And I said, that's a lie. A panhandling law means begging. Selling water is commerce, the sale of goods and services. That's how America was built. So that's what I'm telling them. It's wrong. But see, these people out here, I'm trying to work on the national campaign because.
Okay. Hold on. So, okay. So now they passed a panhandling law that you couldn't sell water on a corner because homeless people were running up the cars and trying to
No,
sell
not homeless people. They
bottles of
were
water to the
begging.
people.
That's what I'm saying. It's wrong. It's put up under the wrong city ordinance. And by the way, it's a city ordinance. It's not a state law or nothing. That's some crap. Yeah,
I understand that, but okay, but what I'm saying is that was an issue, right? Is you would stop at a light and homeless people, whoever, would come up to your car and try to push
that
water
I'm talking
up on
about
you,
regulation.
right?
That's not what people were doing. That's not why this was passed. Nobody in recent history has done that. People were begging, okay? Know the difference. Nobody was running up to nobody's car selling water. These people, if they only were selling water, they would have fought against their right to continue selling water. This is Florida. You can make $50 to $500 a day on a corner. That's how people get paid, regardless of what city council thinks or wants. People need to earn money. So I approached them like, look, this is the bottom line. Why don't y'all just go ahead and remove this sanction, because it's causing ordinary people who are out there selling water. Mind you, it would be regulated. You would have to have a peddler's license, obviously, and you would be restricted to sell at certain times of the day. But in Philly and New York, all over the Jersey, all over the country, there are millions and millions of people out there with their vending trucks and their sales and their wares, and they're paying their bills. So this is what these fools tried to kick. They who are employees, a committee of 5 or 7 or one mayor would say, well, it's not fair. Check it out. It's not fair if people sell water on corners and they're not paying taxes like this big store that pays taxes. So this is what I hit them with. Okay, so let's put that logic, and therefore almost every company is going to have to be relocated that wasn't there first. And then they say, what do you mean? I say, well, if Burger King was on the southeast corner, then McDonald's got to go if they came later on the southwest corner, because Burger King sells cheeseburgers and fries. So we can't have McDonald's on the opposite corner selling burgers and fries. You see how you get them? You don't let these fools ever come back with a rebuttal that is insignificant. How dare you? Nobody got to buy water from me on the corner. They could go to this daggone 7-Eleven. They could go to this gas station. So like I said, with that logic applied, you got to run it across the board. There are no businesses that sell similar or alike. That means only a Chick-fil-A, a Taco Bell, a Burger King, and a Kentucky Fried Chicken can exist, or either churches. Either churches and Kentucky can't be in the same vicinity, neighborhood on each corner, because, hey, they sell chicken. So that's how I shut they dumbasses up. They come back with these refutable rebuttals. And then what? But they got a job, and their job is not to come up with ways. Now I can see if they say, no, we're not going to have citizens selling water. What we're going to do is open up a water plant and bottled water plant and treatment plant, and everybody, we just hire them in the water business like that. They ain't coming up with nothing like that, because their jobs don't depend on them coming up with jobs. That's another thing.
Flav. I go with option B, Flav. I mean, me personally, I'm not buying water off anybody off a corner. I'm really not, especially now in COVID.
Okay,
crazy.
That was a suggestion for people who can't get past a job application, so they won't bust you in the head at the ATM, so they won't break in your house. That's a suggestion for people to earn honest dollar to pay their bills. They can sell Avon, they can sell Amway. Okay, get that impression. The point is that no employee should restrict a citizen from earning honest money. That's not their jobs. So I don't want to go and split the hair. The bottom line is sales and commerce and goods are the rights of the taxpayer. And the sooner that they get woke to that, that will be, by the way, that's what's going to start happening. Now, if some white guy or Italian guy standing on the corner with a nice little setup. Everybody say, oh, wow, look at that business. He's selling water. Good idea. I should have thought of that. So it don't matter. People sell millions of dollars out their hot dog cars. Now people are getting trucks. They're downscaling from brick and mortar to mobile because, yeah, the corner is the lick. So I get it if you don't want to get nothing from nobody right now, but we ain't even talking about right now. We gonna act like the COVID don't exist. What we're speaking of is COVID absent of, because the COVID ain't affecting people's mind to understand they the boss. The COVID is not stopping them from protesting and rioting. Matter of fact, I can't believe how people came out in arms like that. But had anybody been there to help them understand the only place you need to march to is the polls?
Hey, man, again, what you just said, I want to point that out because media, again, is persuasive, right? Now, nobody had anything to say. Nobody. I didn't hear not one negative report about all the people that came out to support Biden, during COVID. But now, if it would have been on the other side at a Trump rally or anything like that, the media comes down hard about all of these people out during COVID. But nobody came out and said anything against all the people that came. There were millions of people flocked all over the place. No masks.
For who? For Biden?
So yeah, after Biden declared himself the winner, he and all the people started coming out and they were showing all over, people all in the streets. He's so
happy he lived.
But then it's a celebration.
Well, actually, I'm hoping that the Lord grants me more influence of exposure as well. So I'm looking to get a public relation person, a manager. This is really big. We're looking to do the million taxpayer felon marches, inmate marches. And the plan of action is simple. For inmates, what's in it for them? Because we want them all donating $1 to the Felon Freedom Fund. Well, what's in it for them? We're going to get their typewriters back. We're going to get education back. All the things that nobody has been able to get them. But everybody is out here complaining about. That's the difference. It's like ACLU and NAACP. Either step up or step back. If you outlive your usefulness, then no problem. But they're the best. But no, we need government oversight committees. We can have that. These fools aren't ever going to do that. They're never going to. The wolf, the snake, will never stop being a snake. The wolf will never take itself out of the hen house. And that's what's happened. These fools have come and into the hen house. Well, I use a better analogy. They lost the Civil War, and then we allowed them to take over the White House. You see, that's where they've been. They've been right there all along. And people, they were too ignorant to understand the difference, like allowing the Confederate flag to still be in America. KKK. People are so dumb. They lost the war. That flag is not even supposed to be in existence. Just like you can't go around flying the swastika. Really? That people would be like, oh my God, how disrespectful, and so forth,
They absolutely would. If I went and put a swastika in my front yard right now, I would have the police at my door later that day to my people complaining. But yet, like I said, and you and I said earlier, there used to be, not anymore, but there used to be a Confederate flag the size of a building.
Oh yeah, I saw it, and it was an awesome sight to see. You know why? Because it showed exactly what America KKK is still representing. But as I like to, and I know time is, well check this out, because I watch PBS. Your girl can give you real fantastic history lessons, such as, or not history lessons, learning lessons. It's just like, I like to say, it's like the preacher that breaks down the Bible. Anybody can read the Bible, but you go to church and they'll make the whole hour or two sermon about like one little passage in the Bible, breaking it down. So that's what I like to do with our history. Number one, white folks were the ones in jail first. They created mass incarceration. Black people weren't even allowed to start being incarcerated, committing crimes, because we were underfoot. We were underfoot into the 50s, the 60s, 70s. Then that's when you start seeing a little explosion of little pimps and drug dealers and whatnot. Black people, like up north, but up north, it was like you really had to be like a rapist, a murderer. They weren't focusing on no little petty ass crimes. We have allowed us to criminalize our
Flav, I lost you, Flav.
Hello, my bad. I'm about accountability and credibility. This we have to own up to what it is that we're allowing to happen to us and accept the fact that we can stop it and stop complaining. It breaks my heart to see people disenfranchised and not realizing that you don't have to be. I don't know why God has revealed so much to me, just like Albert Einstein or Tesla. I'm not coming up with, tangible creations. I'm coming up with mental tangible creations, because knowledge is only power when applied. So that's what's happening. People aren't applying the knowledge of being the boss. They're only saying it, and it's not working for them because they truly don't get it. This country it's going through some drastic, what I call tsunami changes, whereas though it comes in, but people didn't see the ripple effect of it going out. That's what happened with 9/11. It killed the dope game and the economy. The economy was fueled by the drug trade. I'm not talking about people buying and selling drugs. I'm talking about what drug money allowed to circulate. The hood is a great example of it. Right now, all hoods that used to have a bunch of hoodlums hanging out in front of them, not one. The only people that are hanging out now are bums or street people. There's nobody hanging out at these corners no more because it's a wrap. It's over. I'm not saying the drug game over. I said the dope game. Dope meaning cocaine and crack. That's what fueled the inner city urban communities. You didn't have to be buying or selling it to benefit from it. Like all the drug, like for instance, go back and look at all those videos and seeing the guys making it rain on dancers. They don't do that anymore because those money days are over. The whole economy has changed. Therefore, now you hear rappers talking about investing and doing other stuff. And now they're not even rapping about the same crap no more. They're so broke, all they could be rapping about is money. It used to be money, cars, and hoes. Now it's just hoes because they ain't got no money. And very few of them have money like that. If you look at them, their wealth is showing. So what? You can have a bunch of cars rented, leased out, whatever. That's the lease. So things have not just changed in the drug world, it's in the actual culture of our society. And what are people wanting? You're wanting to look like these stars. That's cool, but you're overdoing it. People allowing them to get themselves pumped up in their butt with Home Depot glue and all kind of stuff, silicone, just so you can look this, that, or the third. This society is going to the dogs of insanity. But for the rest of us, regular folks out there, that's going to end up working at Home Depot, Walmart, Burger King, and you need to pay your bills. You need to stop begging for $15 an hour. So it's 15 now, not 2026. If you want marijuana legalized, you're the boss. One man in this country, look it up, Google it. One man said, oh, marijuana. So how can one man come to a determination that millions of people, taxpayers, have concluded that they want? If you grown enough to smoke poison cigarettes, which by by the way, have not one ingredient on it. Ain't this a country of laws and labels? So if this country has every single product with a label of products on it, why is cigarettes the only one that has no label on it? It says tobacco, nicotine, and a warning label. That ain't no ingredients.
Yeah, but going back to what you were saying earlier, it's a good thing that we don't want drugs in our community, and we don't want to give the perception that drugs is a good thing in our communities. You know what I'm saying? And I damn sure don't want a community that relies on drug money, because of everything that brings. I hear what you're saying, but to glamorize. Well, that's true, right? Well, no. Let me say this: America likes to run from its problems, right? America don't like to face its realities, so therefore it uses addiction as that problem. And
that's
this is why we're in a state we're in
using
now.
things. For instance, like they say medical marijuana. If you have no appetite, if you need to eat, so I don't split the hair. You know why? Because this is number one. What God put on this earth and what God bless, no man can curse. He don't tell you to get on it and abuse it. That's with anything. People worry themselves to death. People sex themselves to death. So I don't make excuses for people as long as what you're doing ain't harming me, my family, and society. Now we have an issue. You taking your own personal choice to do and indulge with whatever you want to. That's not for society. That's what you just said, and no disrespect. That's like these political Ponzi scammers. You out thinking your own purpose because it's for man to decide. I hear what you're saying. You don't want drugs in the community, but it's the community that decides what they want.
No, but listen to me though. It's Flav, you're wrong, Flav, because the thing of it is that we as Americans, well, not Americans, just us as humans, we're so weak at times. We doubt ourselves so much. There's so much insecurity that's in us, right? And dealing with trauma from our childhood. So it's not fair to say the things that you're saying, because
I'm not even talking about addiction.
Is not something
you're
that
jumping
can be controlled
into other
in a lot
topics.
of people. So hold up. No, but this
you
is
brought up
the
addiction.
importance of what we're saying,
I ain't
though,
tripping.
because yes,
I'm listening.
Hold on, mommy, listen. But listen to me though. Listen. Right? I agree with you about what you're saying about drugs being God given. I'm 100% with you on that, and I'm 100% behind what Oregon is doing as far as decriminalizing small amounts and whatnot, because we God gifted us these things, right? We can't put limitations on things that God gifted us that can just grow in our backyard, right? But what we do know is, because of oppression, because of societal norms, we tend as human beings to run away from our problems. Self-awareness is not number one on our list, right? So we tend to take things in overabundance, whatever it is, like you said, sex, gambling, shopping, cleaning, whatever your addiction is.
Being
right?
a troublemaker and people business
Food,
causing problems.
It is. Being a bully, whatever your escape is, it's there. That's your addiction, right? And we're doing all of this in an overabundance. So it's not like we can just say, okay, cocaine is legal, and we just expect nobody to, we expect everybody to handle it responsibly. We just know that that's not going to happen. So what's going to end up happening now is my personal use is now going to start causing you
Once
infliction.
again, you jumping
Now
around
I
a lot,
can't
and
support
I
my habit.
appreciate
I have to come.
you breaking it down. But we off topic. See, what I started by saying was how the dope game killed the economy. And by the way, everybody didn't use drugs. Everybody don't sell drugs. Everybody didn't have no crack baby. Everybody. Matter of fact, I'm trying to do a little sideshow with my people out in Las Vegas called Crack Chronicles for everybody to talk about them. Because you know what? People ain't off of crack. Crack off of them. This whole country cannot get cocaine and crack no more. So everybody who used to be a crackhead is no longer a crackhead because they cannot get the rock. So what I'm talking about is compensation and to improve our neighborhoods, because we sat by and allowed. If people identify, you know what I learned? You right here with me.
What do you mean? But Flav, what
There's
do you
no
mean
more
people
rock.
can't
Okay,
get the rock?
do you have a paycheck? Would you like to bet your paycheck? I got about a couple of $1,000s on me right now. I could meet you anywhere and bet you a couple of $1,000. Homie, get your facts straight. Google crack arrests. Google, they ain't even no bondsmen in this town no more because the dope game over. Okay? Mind you, I work in the prisons. I work with the people. Matter of fact, since I've been sitting here talking to you, know where I'm at? I'm in the hood, and not one car has come by booming. The dope game is over. Not the drug game, dope game. Cocaine. 9/11 killed it. If it was still around, you would know it. So Google it. Why are you sitting there? Google crack arrests in the last day, week, and month. And tell me what it come up to be. You know what's out here is called spice and crystal meth. That's what urban city folks are dealing with, but that's what the only drugs is out here. Mind you, the reason why I'm bringing up these facts is that the economy has tanked, and that has caused a surge in arrests and money motivated crimes. That's why this mission is important, for the scales of injustice to be balanced, so that people, the only way you should be unemployed is if there are no jobs or you're not qualified, not because of your criminal background. That is to be determined. Meaning, if you're a pedophile, obviously you're not going to work in daycares, or if you're a thief, you're not going to work in banks. But that does not mean you're not going to work. And all felons or formerly incarcerated should have been getting a disability check. They're a taxpayer. See, that's what's going to make them angry, knowing that how dare your political employee take away all of your beneficial rights that they weren't never supposed to do, and then you still pay taxes into a system that you don't benefit off of. Big facts. You better believe it. Now, it's time to do the marches. It's time to get, or I'm trying to find somebody to do a Facebook group like that. You ever seen a commercial with Facebook groups like the Kazoo and all of that? All of that superficial stuff. I'm not mad at people being happy out here, but I don't see how people can be happy with people potentially about to rob you or bust you in the head at the ATM. People need to understand, as long as this crap is existing, injustice.
But see, but that goes back to my point though, Flav, about America and about what this podcast is about, the awareness, because most Americans have the tendency to ostracize, to put their heads in the ground and hope that everything just goes away. Hope that the government's going to come swoop in and just take care of everything so they don't have to deal with it.
I apologize. And go ahead, babe. Finish your comment. I was just going to ask if we could get a fresh perspective in a second. Go ahead.
Well, I got to get off. We already been on the phone for an hour and 20 minutes. I got to get on with the rest of my day, Flav. This was unprepared, but
let me let my girl from the West Coast chime in real quick. Just take a 30 seconds. Lady D,
go ahead.
Tell them what the lick read.
All right, come on, bring her in.
She might be she work. You there, D? Yeah, she might be in the middle of something. Okay, well, maybe next time. I do appreciate this, and the message is initially, I've gotten so much on with you, is to get Governor Ron DeSantis employee to resign. All taxpayers, all Black Lives Matter, everybody. This fool has called out for approving rioters to get away with crimes. If you get ran over by a protester, this is what they're trying to do. They're mad now that Trump has lost. Trump the traitor has lost, or he's going to lose, and all his cronies, all these traitors, they're really traitors. They're against you, American public taxpayers. They're against you. How dare you sit by and allow these fools? The South has not risen. The Confederates. It is time to purge them. It's time to do a political purge, and it is time to get rid of employee, what I don't even know what to call him, traitor employee, Ron DeSantis in Florida. He is calling to allow citizens to run each other over and to condone violence and not be prosecuted. And this is one of the most heinous, gross negligence or miscarriages of injustice by a political employee, besides Donald Trump pulling this crap. And we must get rid of him and demand a resign and get rid of this fool.
Okay. What is this bill that you're talking about with DeSantis?
No, Ron DeSantis just came out publicly and said that he wants to make running, and I know I'm not giving it to you word for word, but it amounts to, he wants to make running citizens over legal. Remember, during a couple of protests, the protesters accelerated and ran people over. He wanted to say the people who do that won't be prosecuted.
Self-defense.
That ain't self-defense. That's murder. Man. First of all.
Okay. No, hold on, Flav. No, hold on now, because I'm telling you, if I'm surrounded by 50 people banging on my car, trying to break my windows, okay, I am running you over, Flav. I'm running you over. And I shouldn't be charged. I'm supposed to let people just open my car doors and drag me out of the car or whatever.
Every circumstance is different, just like with people breaking in, entering into your home. People nowadays, they are getting prosecuted. It is not as simple and cut as dry as just that. So that's the point. Now, when in North Carolina, when nobody was attacking those people, and you can't just say you're presumed to. Matter of fact, okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
There's some. You're absolutely correct. There are some malicious.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about if you just happen to be coming down the street and you find you made a left, you should have made a right, and you're in the middle of protesters, and oh my gosh, what's going on? And yeah, they're like they're about to kill you and your family, and you had to take off. No.
Because I'm white.
I'm talking about you just accelerated, punched on the gas because you an angry devil, and this you feel like just like they killed that man out there, one jogging through the neighborhood. Now I'm not one to get offset by things, but that has really, really got me fired up, and that is what fuels my fire. And I appreciate your time, and let's do this again, man. Let's link up and turn these messages into motion, to action.
Yeah, we got to. I'm trying to figure all that out, Flav. But
you too, and I'll hit you back up, and we'll see. Inshallah, time to achieve the dream. Peace.